Hey everyone. Today's big question: how are Native Americans keeping their culture alive? If you're new here, hi, I'm your host, and this is the series where we take on the big questions of history. So, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. So, Native American cultural preservation is essential to maintaining the vitality, identity, and sovereignty of indigenous communities across the United States. With Native Americans making up less than 2% of the U.S. population, the struggle to keep their rich traditions, languages, and customs alive is both ongoing and demands our attention. Cultural preservation is not just about honoring the past. It is about ensuring that Native cultures continue to thrive and adapt for future generations. So, how are they doing it? Well, there are many efforts underway to preserve Native American culture. Here are just a few. 1. Repatriation and protection. Laws like the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, or NAGPRA, have enabled tribes to reclaim sacred objects and ancestral remains from museums and federal agencies, returning them to their rightful communities. International efforts are also underway to recover items held or sold abroad. 2. Revitalization of language and traditions. Many tribes are actively working to revitalize endangered languages, traditional arts, and ceremonies. These efforts include language immersion programs, cultural camps, and the documentation of oral histories. 3. Education and advocacy. Organizations such as the National Congress of American Indians, or NCAI, work to educate non-Native people about the importance of Native cultures and to advocate for the protection of cultural resources. This advocacy is critical for safeguarding traditional religions, customs, and the status of tribes as sovereign nations. And 4. Community-led initiatives. Tribal communities are developing exhibits, mapping ancestral territories, and creating educational resources to share their heritage with both Native and non-Native audiences. These projects help foster a deeper understanding of the cultural significance and resourcefulness of Native peoples. Despite these efforts, cultural preservation faces obstacles such as ongoing assimilation pressures, the loss of language, and limited resources. However, Native communities continue to find creative and resilient ways to keep their cultures alive. In summary, Native American cultural preservation is a dynamic, community-driven process that involves reclaiming heritage, revitalizing traditions, and educating others. It is a vital effort to ensure that Native identities, languages, and ways of life endure and flourish in the modern world. I hope you enjoyed learning more about what Native Americans are doing to preserve their culture. If you want to learn more about Native American history, I've included several resources for you to check out. Also, please remember to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'll see you next time. Hi, this is your host. Today we're going to talk about Native American traditions today. What traditions are still practiced by Native Americans today? So, Native American traditions are living traditions. They are not things of the past. They are living traditions that are still practiced by Native Americans today. Despite centuries of colonization, forced assimilation, and other sorts of cultural suppression, Native peoples have managed to preserve and revitalize their traditions, and they continue to be practiced by Native American communities all over the United States. Some examples include ceremonies and rituals. Ceremonies and rituals are a big part of Native American life. They help to reinforce bonds between community members, and they help to reinforce spiritual beliefs. Many tribes still practice things like sweat lodges. They practice seasonal celebrations and healing rituals. And although the specifics of these ceremonies vary from tribe to tribe, they all have the same general purpose. They're all meant to help people connect with the spirit world, to honor their ancestors, and to maintain harmony with the natural world. Another example is powwows. Powwows are probably the most visible Native American tradition today. At a powwow, you will typically see things like drumming, singing, and traditional dancing. But for Native Americans, a powwow is more than just a social event. It's a celebration of their culture. It's a time for community connection, and it's also an important part of their political life. Although originally a word that was used to describe a gathering that took place after a successful hunt or a battle, today's powwows are much more inclusive. They are open to all Native Americans, regardless of tribe or background, and they are also open to non-Native Americans who are interested in learning about Native culture. Another tradition that continues to be an important part of Native American life today is the oral tradition. In many Native American communities, storytelling is still the primary way of transmitting history, values, and teachings. It's also a way of preserving their history in the face of forced assimilation. Many Native languages are also seeing a revival today as Native Americans work to revitalize their languages and to pass them on to younger generations. Language is one of the cornerstones of cultural identity, and it's a key element of the cultural survival for Native Americans. Regalia is another important aspect of Native American culture that continues to be practiced today. Regalia is the traditional clothing that is worn by Native Americans for special occasions. It's not just a piece of clothing. It's a way of expressing cultural pride and identity. Many Native Americans wear regalia to ceremonies and powwows, and each piece of regalia has its own meaning and significance. For example, certain items like feathers or beadwork may have spiritual significance, or they may represent a particular tribe or clan. Finally, it's important to remember that Native American traditions are not static. They are not things of the past. They are living traditions that are constantly evolving. Many Native Americans today blend traditional customs with modern practices. For example, some Native Americans incorporate traditional healing methods with modern medicine, or they may blend Native spirituality with Christianity. This blending of old and new is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of Native cultures. In summary, Native American traditions today are living, breathing things. They are a vital part of Native American life, and they continue to play an important role in maintaining cultural continuity despite centuries of oppression. So the next time you hear about a Native American tradition, don't just think of it as a thing of the past. Think of it as a living tradition that continues to be an important part of Native American life today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please follow for more. Until next time. The impact of colonization on Native Americans was nothing short of catastrophic. Let's break down just how brutal colonization was for Native Americans. After 1492, when European colonizers arrived in the Americas, diseases such as smallpox were introduced to which indigenous peoples had no immunity. Smallpox, measles, and typhus spread like wildfire, wiping out entire villages. This depopulation was one of the most immediate and devastating impacts of colonization. As European settlers expanded their territories, Native communities were moved, renamed, combined, dispersed, and in many cases destroyed. This process of removing indigenous peoples from their lands led to bitter disputes and a long-term loss of territory and resources. Furthermore, colonization brought about wars, ethnic cleansing, and acts of resistance and retaliation, which destabilized indigenous societies. Violence was rampant as colonizers sought to subjugate Native Americans and impose their dominance. Many Native Americans were subjected to enslavement as colonizers sought to exploit their labor. This upheaval of colonization disrupted Native American cultures, languages, and social structures. Many communities experienced forced assimilation, the loss of traditional practices, and the breakdown of family and community bonds. These disruptions have contributed to ongoing poverty, substance abuse, and chronic health problems at higher rates than non-Native populations. In summary, the impact of colonization on Native Americans was profound and far-reaching. It caused massive population loss, dispossession of land, cultural disruption, and long-term social and health challenges that continue to affect Native American communities today. For more on this topic, check out the series in the description. And remember, the story of Native Americans during colonization is a story of resilience and resistance in the face of extraordinary adversity. Despite the devastating impacts of colonization, Native American communities have demonstrated remarkable strength and adaptability, preserving their cultures and fighting for their rights and recognition. Their stories deserve to be heard and their resilience celebrated. Thanks for watching. Hey, so I've gotten a lot of requests to do a lesson on Native American genocide. So here it is. I'm going to go through 3. What is genocide? A very brief history of the United States' genocidal policies toward Native Americans. And finally, how scholars have defined this specifically as genocide. So first off, what is genocide? Well, the term genocide was coined by this guy, Raphael Lemkin, in 1944. And it's codified in international law by the 1948 United Nations Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, or the UNGC. Article 2 of that treaty defines genocide as any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. And then it lists several acts, including killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, and deliberately inflicting conditions of life on the group calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. In 1988, the United States ratified this definition, and it's also included in U.S. domestic law. But we're not here to talk about what the UN says or what the U.S. has signed on to. We're here to talk about what happened to Native Americans. And there's this really rich scholarship by Native American scholars and non-Native American scholars as well that tells a horrific story. Story of massacres like Sand Creek in 1864, where hundreds of unarmed Native men, women, and children were killed by U.S. soldiers. There's the Trail of Tears, when thousands of Cherokee and other tribal members were forced to relocate from their ancestral lands in the southeastern U.S. to lands west of the Mississippi, and thousands died from exposure, disease, and starvation. There's the reservation system, which confined tribes to specific parcels of land and often in terrible conditions. There's the boarding schools, which forcibly removed Native children from their families with the explicit goal of destroying their cultures and eradicating their languages. And there's the forced sterilization of tens of thousands of Native women, a policy which absolutely meets the UN definition of genocide as imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. So that leads us to the third part of this lesson, which is, how have scholars defined this as genocide? Well, many historians and legal scholars argue that these U.S. policies and actions meet the UN definition of genocide. They point to the massacres, the forced removals, the destruction of food sources, the forced sterilization, and the cultural erasure as evidence of a deliberate campaign to destroy Native groups. Some scholars argue that the intent to destroy Native groups is not always explicit in government documents, and so they use the term cultural genocide to describe what happened. Others point out that the UN definition of genocide doesn't include cultural genocide, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. So basically, there's a lot of scholarship which argues that genocide is a useful framework for understanding U.S. history and Native American experiences. Other scholars compare Native American genocide to other genocides like the Holocaust or Rwanda, but they also caution against applying a Holocaust-based concept of genocide too rigidly because it can obscure the specific forms of destruction that Native Americans experienced. Finally, in the last few decades, the U.S. government has begun to acknowledge some of the harms done through boarding schools and other policies, but official acknowledgement and a formal apology from the federal government have yet to be issued, and those efforts remain limited compared to what's happened in Canada and Australia. So to sum things up, I made this little chart. Here are some of the genocidal acts and policies, and then whether or not they meet the UN criteria for genocide, and then just a brief description of why. So hopefully this gives you a starting point for thinking about Native American genocide. It's a huge topic and there's so much more to learn. Hey, let's do a rapid-fire history timeline of Native Americans from pre-contact to present day. Tens of thousands of years ago, the first peoples, those we call Paleo-Indians, migrate from Eurasia to the Americas via Beringia, a land bridge that once connected Siberia and Alaska. Over the next millennia, these populations spread throughout North and South America. They developed diverse cultures and societies, including some that will later be called civilizations. They build impressive structures like mounds and complexes. They develop complex trade networks and engage in agriculture, warfare, and diplomacy with other groups. Then, in 1492, Christopher Columbus arrives in the Americas. This date is considered the beginning of the contact period, which will last until 1676. In 1676, King Philip's War ends with the death of Metacomet, also known as King Philip, chief of the Wampanoags. This war is the last major Native American uprising in southern New England. In 1763, during the French and Indian War, Ottawa Chief Pontiac leads a large force of Native Americans in an attempt to drive the British out of Detroit. This is known as Pontiac's Rebellion. The British win a decisive victory against the Native Americans at the Battle of Bloody Run. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson signs the Indian Removal Act into law. This act will result in the forced relocation of thousands of Native Americans from their ancestral lands. One of the most well-known forced relocations is the Trail of Tears, in which the Cherokee people are forcibly moved to present-day Oklahoma. In the late 1800s, the U.S. government continues its policies of assimilation, land dispossession, and the establishment of reservations. During this time, the U.S. government also begins to relocate Native Americans from reservations to urban areas. This is encouraged through federal programs. Many Native Americans take up residence in cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. In 1934, the Indian Reorganization Act is passed. This act reverses many of the assimilation policies of the previous decades and encourages tribal self-governance and cultural revitalization. In the mid-1900s, federal programs encourage Native Americans to leave reservations and move to urban areas. This results in the growth of urban Native communities. And in the 21st century, Native American nations continue to assert their sovereignty, revitalize their languages and traditions, and address the ongoing challenges related to land, health, and cultural preservation. This timeline covers only a fraction of Native American history. There are so many more important events and people that could have been included. If you would like to learn more about Native American history, there are resources available. Thanks for watching. Native American Chiefs, Leaders of First Nations. Who were Native American chiefs? Native American chiefs were leaders of Native American tribes or nations. They held positions of authority, responsibility, and respect within their communities. The role of a chief varied greatly among the hundreds of different tribes, but generally included duties such as guiding the community, making decisions on matters of war and peace, representing the tribe in negotiations with other tribes or outside groups, upholding cultural traditions and laws, and often serving as a spokesperson or diplomat for their people. Depending on the tribe, chiefs could be chosen for their wisdom, bravery, oratory skills, ability to maintain harmony within the community, or a combination of these qualities. In some tribes, leadership was hereditary, passing from one generation to the next within a family line. In other tribes, chiefs were selected by consensus of the community or demonstrated merit through acts of bravery, wisdom, or service. Some examples of famous Native American chiefs include Cochise, a leader of the Apache in the Southwest, known for his resistance against the U.S. Army and later his efforts to make peace. Black Hawk, a Sauk chief who led his people during the Black Hawk War of 1832. Sitting Bull, a Lakota Sioux spiritual and military leader during the 19th century resistance to U.S. expansion on the Great Plains. Chief Joseph, a Nez Perce chief famous for his leadership during the Nez Perce War of 1877 and his eloquent advocacy for his people's rights. And Geronimo, a Chiricahua Apache leader renowned for his resistance against both U.S. and Mexican forces during the late 19th century. In some tribes, civil chiefs focused on governance, diplomacy, and the day-to-day affairs of the tribe, while war chiefs led the warriors in times of conflict and were responsible for defense and strategy. In certain cultures, chiefs also held spiritual authority or worked closely with medicine people. Tribal leadership structures were not monolithic. For example, the Muskogee Confederacy, also known as the Creek, had civil chiefs who presided over town councils. However, decisions were often made collectively with individuals or towns having the right to choose whether to follow the council as guidance. What are chiefs today? Today, many tribes still have chiefs or elected leaders, though roles may be more administrative or ceremonial. Reflecting both traditional practices and modern governance structures, tribal governments often include councils and chairpersons, and leadership is recognized both within the community and by outside governments. The title chief carries deep cultural significance, often associated with wisdom, responsibility, and service to the community. It's important to acknowledge that the use of chief in non-native contexts, such as sports teams, can be controversial and is often seen as appropriative or disrespectful by Native communities. Native American chiefs played and continue to play a vital role in their communities, guiding their people through times of peace and conflict and serving as symbols of resilience, wisdom, and cultural continuity. Their legacies continue to inspire Native communities and the broader public today. Many people think of Native Americans as living in harmony with nature, and that's true for many tribes. But it's less well known that many Native American tribes also had strong traditions of warfare. In fact, some tribes like the Plains Nations became renowned for their warrior societies and skills in battle. And when the United States government began its westward expansion in the 1800s, Native American warriors resisted this encroachment on their land and way of life. Most people have heard of legendary Native American warriors like Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Geronimo, and Chief Joseph. But there are many other lesser-known Native American warriors whose bravery and skill in battle is just as impressive. The Nez Perce, for example, were known as fierce and skillful warriors. And when the U.S. Army forced them to move to a reservation in the 1870s, they fought back, led by Chief Joseph. Although they were eventually defeated and forced to surrender, they gained the respect and admiration of their enemies for their courage and determination. The same was true of the Plains warriors who fought to defend their ancestral lands from encroachment by settlers. These warriors, sometimes called braves by colonial sources, were highly skilled horsemen and marksmen, and they fought with great ferocity in defense of their people. But Native Americans weren't just warriors resisting colonization. They also served as warriors in the U.S. military, beginning with the Civil War and continuing to the present day. During World War I and World War II, Native Americans served as code talkers, using their indigenous languages to transmit secret messages that helped the Allied forces to victory. Despite facing discrimination and the challenge of serving in a military that often looked down on them, Native Americans continued to serve with honor, upholding the warrior spirit in a new context. Today, the concept of the warrior remains important in many Native communities. It's a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and service to the people, as well as martial skill. The warrior tradition is honored in ceremonies, stories, and the continued service of Native Americans in the armed forces. In conclusion, the legacy of the Native American warrior is one of courage, resilience, and pride. From their historic battles against colonization to their service in the U.S. military, Native American warriors have defended their people, their land, and their way of life with bravery and determination. Their story is an important part of American history that should be remembered and honored. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm here. And as someone with Native heritage, I've made it my life's work to share stories about the history, culture, and contributions of Native Americans. Because the truth is, the contributions of Native Americans to the United States and to the world are vast and undeniable, and yet they're often overlooked or underrepresented. So through this platform, I want to help change that.
I want to share with you the many ways that Native Americans have shaped our world for the better. So let's start with 1. Agriculture. Before European contact, Native Americans had domesticated and were cultivating crops like corn, beans, squash, potatoes, tomatoes, and peanuts, just to name a few.
These crops, which today feed billions of people around the world, were developed and refined by indigenous farmers through careful selection and cultivation over many years. And it wasn't just the crops themselves, but also the techniques that Native American farmers developed, like companion planting, what we call the Three Sisters method, planting corn, beans, and squash together, as well as terrace farming and irrigation systems. All of these innovations in agriculture helped sustain thriving communities and laid the foundation for the agricultural richness that would later characterize the United States. Another area where Native Americans made significant contributions was in governance. The Haudenosaunee, or Iroquois Confederacy, developed a system of government that was based on principles of democracy. Their Great Law of Peace, which established a council of chiefs and a system of checks and balances among the different branches of government, is considered to be a precursor to the U.S. Constitution. In fact, the framers of the Constitution, including James Madison, studied the Iroquois Constitution and were directly influenced by its principles, particularly its establishment of a federal system of government. And then there's language. During both World Wars, native languages like Navajo and Choctaw were used as military codes because they were unknown to the enemy, making them virtually unbreakable. The Navajo code talkers, in particular, played a critical role in the Pacific theater of World War II, transmitting messages that helped turn the tide of battle. In medicine, native healers had extensive knowledge of medicinal plants, including echinacea, willow bark, which is where aspirin comes from, and quinine, which is used to treat malaria. They also developed sophisticated systems of herbal remedies and treatments. In the arts, Native American traditions of basketry, beadwork, pottery, and textiles have influenced American arts and crafts. And the music and dance of Native cultures have inspired everything from folk music to jazz. Native American rhythms and melodies continue to resonate and influence contemporary music. And let's not forget sports. The game of lacrosse, which originated with the Haudenosaunee, is now an international sport played by millions. In fact, Native Americans have enriched our society in so many ways that it's impossible to cover all of their contributions in just one video. But I hope I've done two things. First, I hope I've shown you that Native Americans have been innovators and leaders in so many fields, and that their contributions have helped shape the world we live in today. And second, I hope I've inspired you to learn more about Native American history and culture, and to celebrate the rich heritage of the indigenous peoples of this land. Thanks for watching. Hey, let's do a rapid-fire history timeline of Native Americans from pre-contact to present day. Tens of thousands of years ago, the first peoples, those we call Paleo-Indians, migrate from Eurasia to the Americas via Beringia, a land bridge that once connected Siberia and Alaska. Over the next millennia, these populations spread throughout North and South America. They developed diverse cultures and societies, including some that will later be called civilizations. They build impressive structures like mounds and complexes. They develop complex trade networks and engage in agriculture, warfare, and diplomacy with other groups. Then, in 1492, Christopher Columbus arrives in the Americas. This date is considered the beginning of the contact period, which will last until 1676. In 1676, King Philip's War ends with the death of Metacomet, also known as King Philip, chief of the Wampanoags. This war is the last major Native American uprising in southern New England. In 1763, during the French and Indian War, Ottawa Chief Pontiac leads a large force of Native Americans in an attempt to drive the British out of Detroit. This is known as Pontiac's Rebellion. The British win a decisive victory against the Native Americans at the Battle of Bloody Run. In 1830, President Andrew Jackson signs the Indian Removal Act into law. This act will result in the forced relocation of thousands of Native Americans from their ancestral lands. One of the most well-known forced relocations is the Trail of Tears, in which the Cherokee people are forcibly moved to present-day Oklahoma. In the late 1800s, the U.S. government continues its policies of assimilation, land dispossession, and the establishment of reservations. During this time, the U.S. government also begins to relocate Native Americans from reservations to urban areas. This is encouraged through federal programs. Many Native Americans take up residence in cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Seattle. In 1934, the Indian Reorganization Act is passed. This act reverses many of the assimilation policies of the previous decades and encourages tribal self-governance and cultural revitalization. In the mid-1900s, federal programs encourage Native Americans to leave reservations and move to urban areas. This results in the growth of urban Native communities. And in the 21st century, Native American nations continue to assert their sovereignty, revitalize their languages and traditions, and address the ongoing challenges related to land, health, and cultural preservation. This timeline covers only a fraction of Native American history. There are so many more important events and people that could have been included. If you would like to learn more about Native American history, there are resources available. Thanks for watching. Native American women have played crucial roles in shaping history, culture, and advocacy across the United States. Wilma Mankiller, Cherokee Nation. First female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, known for her leadership and advocacy for Native rights. Sacagawea, Lemhi Shoshone, guided the Lewis and Clark expedition, serving as an interpreter and symbol of courage. Pocahontas, Powhatan, played a key role in early relations between Native Americans and English settlers in Virginia. Lyda Conley, Wyandot Nation, first Native American woman to argue a case before the U.S. Supreme Court, fighting to protect her tribe's burial grounds. Maria Tallchief, Osage Nation, America's first major prima ballerina and a trailblazer in the world of ballet. Zitkala Shah, Yankton Sioux, writer, musician, and activist for Native American rights and cultural preservation. Susan LaFlesche, Pequot, Omaha Nation, first Native American woman to become a physician in the United States. Buffalo Calf Road Woman, Northern Cheyenne, a warrior who fought at the Battle of the Rosebud and the Battle of the Little Bighorn. Radmilla Cody, Navajo African American, Navajo language singer and the 46th Miss Navajo Nation. Charlene Teeters, Spokane Nation, artist and activist, known for her work against Native American mascots in sports. Mary Golda Ross, Cherokee Nation, trailblazing engineer and the first known Native American female engineer. Sarah Winnemucca, Northern Paiute, author, educator, and advocate for the rights of her people. Eloise Coble, Blackfeet Nation, banker and activist who led a landmark lawsuit over Native American land trust mismanagement. Winona LaDuke, White Earth Ojibwe, environmental activist, economist, and writer focused on Indigenous rights and land preservation. Deb Holland, Laguna Pueblo, first Native American woman to serve as a U.S. Cabinet Secretary, Secretary of the Interior. Ada Deer, Menominee Nation, first woman to chair the Menominee tribe and the first Native American woman to head the Bureau of Indian Affairs. Joy Harjo, Muskogee Creek Nation, renowned poet and the first Native American U.S. Poet Laureate. Sharice Davids, Ho-Chunk Nation, one of the first Native American women elected to the U.S. Congress. Allie Young, Navajo Nation, activist and founder of Protect the Sacred, advocating for Native youth and voting rights. Jana Schmieding, Cheyenne River Lakota Sioux, writer, comedian, and actress known for her work in Indigenous representation in media. These women represent just a fraction of the many Native American women who have shaped history and continue to inspire today. Hi, this is your host. Today we're going to talk about Native American traditions today. What traditions are still practiced by Native Americans today? So, Native American traditions are living traditions. They are not things of the past. They are living traditions that are still practiced by Native Americans today. Despite centuries of colonization, forced assimilation, and other sorts of cultural suppression, Native peoples have managed to preserve and revitalize their traditions, and they continue to be practiced by Native American communities all over the United States. Some examples include ceremonies and rituals. Ceremonies and rituals are a big part of Native American life. They help to reinforce bonds between community members, and they help to reinforce spiritual beliefs. Many tribes still practice things like sweat lodges. They practice seasonal celebrations and healing rituals, and although the specifics of these ceremonies vary from tribe to tribe, they all have the same general purpose. They're all meant to help people connect with the spirit world, to honor their ancestors, and to maintain harmony with the natural world. Another example is powwows. Powwows are probably the most visible Native American tradition today. At a powwow, you will typically see things like drumming, singing, and traditional dancing. But for Native Americans, a powwow is more than just a social event. It's a celebration of their culture. It's a time for community connection, and it's also an important part of their political life. Although originally a word that was used to describe a gathering that took place after a successful hunt or a battle, today's powwows are much more inclusive. They are open to all Native Americans, regardless of tribe or background, and they are also open to non-Native Americans who are interested in learning about Native culture. Another tradition that continues to be an important part of Native American life today is the oral tradition. In many Native American communities, storytelling is still the primary way of transmitting history, values, and teachings. It's also a way of preserving their history in the face of forced assimilation. Many Native languages are also seeing a revival today as Native Americans work to revitalize their languages and to pass them on to younger generations. Language is one of the cornerstones of cultural identity, and it's a key element of the cultural survival for Native Americans. Regalia is another important aspect of Native American culture that continues to be practiced today. Regalia is the traditional clothing that is worn by Native Americans for special occasions. It's not just a piece of clothing. It's a way of expressing cultural pride and identity. Many Native Americans wear regalia to ceremonies and powwows, and each piece of regalia has its own meaning and significance. For example, certain items like feathers or beadwork may have spiritual significance, or they may represent a particular tribe or clan. Finally, it's important to remember that Native American traditions are not static. They are not things of the past. They are living traditions that are constantly evolving. Many Native Americans today blend traditional customs with modern practices. For example, Some Native Americans incorporate traditional healing methods with modern medicine, or they may blend Native spirituality with Christianity. This blending of old and new is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of Native cultures. In summary, Native American traditions today are living, breathing things. They are a vital part of Native American life, and they continue to play an important role in maintaining cultural continuity despite centuries of oppression. So the next time you hear about a Native American tradition, don't just think of it as a thing of the past. Think of it as a living tradition that continues to be an important part of Native American life today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please follow for more. Until next time. Native American names are more than just labels. They're a profound part of Native American culture, each one telling a story of heritage, nature, and identity. In this quick video, we'll explore the fascinating world of Native American names, where every letter holds a piece of history. So let's dive in and discover the secrets behind these names. First off, let's talk about the meaning and origins of Native American names. These names are deeply meaningful and often reflect connections to nature, tribal heritage, and ancestral languages. Many Native American names are inspired by the natural world, such as animals, plants, weather, or landscapes. For example, the name Sacagawea is believed to mean bird woman in Hidatsa, or boat puller in Shoshone. Other names come from tribal languages and may have multiple spellings or interpretations due to differences in pronunciation and the lack of traditional writing systems. Some names were given based on personal characteristics, spiritual visions, or significant life events. Next, let's discuss transcription and translation. Because most Native American languages didn't have written forms before European contact, names are typically transcribed into English using phonetic approximations. This can lead to multiple spellings of the same name and sometimes a loss of nuanced meaning. For instance, the name Navajo is a phonetic representation of the endonym used by the Navajo people. However, the name's spelling has evolved over time due to different interpretations of the pronunciation. Now let's explore modern usage and revival. Today, many Native families continue to use traditional names, and there is a growing movement to reclaim and revitalize Indigenous naming practices. Some parents choose Native names for their children to honor their heritage and keep their languages alive. The use of Native American names in modern times is a testament to the strength and resilience of Native cultures. And it's not just personal names. Native American names are also found in the names of tribes, places, and even U.S. states like Alabama, Arizona, and others. This reflects the enduring influence of indigenous languages and cultures across North America. In conclusion, Native American names are rich in meaning, rooted in nature and culture, and serve as powerful expressions of identity and heritage. Their continued use and revival are important for cultural preservation and pride. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe so you never miss out on our latest content. And if you have your own experiences with Native American names, we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning. Are you a Native American looking to trace your ancestry and understand your heritage? If so, you've come to the right place. As a Native American myself, I know how important it is to connect with our roots and learn about our ancestors. That's why I'm excited to share with you some valuable insights and resources to help you on your genealogy journey. Now let's dive into the fascinating world of Native American genealogy. First, gather family information. Start with what you know. Collect family stories, names, birth and death dates, and places of residence. Many Native American tribes have rich oral histories, so don't underestimate the power of family stories. Some records that may be helpful include family Bibles, old photographs, and documents. Keep in mind that not all Native American records were historically written down, so oral histories are an invaluable resource. Next, research tribal enrollment requirements. Each federally recognized tribe has its own criteria for membership, often based on lineage and documentation. It's essential to understand these requirements if you're interested in formal tribal enrollment. You can usually find this information on the tribe's website or by contacting them directly. Now let's explore some online genealogy resources. There are several reputable online resources to help you trace your Native American ancestry. One great place to start is Family Search. They offer a comprehensive collection of Native American genealogy records. Another valuable resource is the U.S. Department of the Interior. While not a genealogy website per se, it provides guidance on tracing your ancestry for tribal enrollment. Access Genealogy and the National Archives also have extensive databases and historical records, including census rolls, tribal enrollment lists, and Indian agency records. When using online resources, keep in mind that the quality and availability of records vary. Some records may be incomplete or hard to access due to privacy restrictions. Next, explore federal and tribal records. Key records to look for include census rolls, such as the Dawes Rolls, which list Native Americans enrolled in the Dawes Act of 1887, tribal enrollment records, which document individuals' membership in a particular tribe, and Indian agency records, which contain information about Native American tribes and individuals under the jurisdiction of federal agencies. School and mission records can also provide valuable genealogical information. If you need assistance with navigating these records, consider working with a professional genealogist who specializes in Native American ancestry. And here's a pro tip from me to you. Don't overlook the power of oral tradition. Many Native American cultures have a strong oral tradition, so talk to your elders and gather family stories and memories. They might provide invaluable insights into your ancestry and heritage. Remember, genealogy is a journey of discovery. Be patient, persistent, and respectful when researching your Native American roots. And always be mindful of the privacy and cultural sensitivities involved in working with tribal records. So embrace the adventure, connect with your heritage, and keep learning about your incredible Native American ancestry. If you find this information helpful, please share it with others and stay tuned for more genealogy tips. Happy hunting! Hey there! In this video, we're going to talk about Native American treaties. So treaties in general are nothing new. You probably learned about them in world history class. Basically, they're formal agreements between countries, states, or other groups. But what makes Native American treaties unique is the relationship they establish between sovereign Native nations and the United States government. And these treaties are super important because they're the foundation of the legal relationship between the two. These treaties, also called concordats or covenants, were intended to establish terms of peace between the U.S. and various tribes. Set boundaries for tribal lands, define rights to hunt and fish, establish rules for trade and travel, and outline mutual duties and responsibilities. Sometimes the treaties also guaranteed peace and protection for the tribes and their members. And other times the U.S. government agreed to provide goods, services, or payments in exchange for land or other concessions. The federal government negotiated hundreds of treaties with dozens of tribes over a period of nearly a century, from 1790 to 1871. That was a long time. But after that, the government stopped making treaties with tribes and started breaking them. For most of U.S. history, the government just broke the treaties whenever it was convenient for them, like when they needed more land for westward expansion. Sometimes they even used coercion to force tribes to sign treaties that ceded, that gave up land. But the tribes didn't always agree to give up their land. And there were plenty of times when the U.S. government just flat out refused to honor the terms of the treaties they had already signed. But even though many treaties were broken, the U.S. and tribal relations were defined by these agreements. It's a legacy that continues to shape tribal sovereignty, land claims, and resource management rights today. In fact, the federal government's trust responsibility to tribes is rooted in these very treaties, and as a result, treaties remain foundational to federal Indian law and policy. So, in a nutshell, Native American treaties are legally binding agreements that establish the framework for the relationship between tribes and the U.S. government. While many treaties were broken, they continue to shape Native rights, sovereignty, and advocacy efforts today. I hope that helped. If you want even more detail, check out the additional resources. I've got some links in the description. As always, I want to give a big shout out to all of my supporters who make videos like this one possible. If you want to see your name at the end of videos, then you too can support this channel. Check out the links below. And finally, don't forget to subscribe. We've got lots more videos heading your way. Did you know that there are hundreds of casinos across the United States that are owned and operated by Native American tribes? If you've ever wondered about the prevalence of Native American casinos or their impact on both Native communities and the broader economy, keep watching to find out more. What are Native American casinos? Native American casinos are gambling establishments that are owned and operated by federally recognized Native American tribes on tribal lands. These casinos are allowed under the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act of 1988, which recognizes the inherent sovereignty of tribal governments and their right to self-determination. The act allows tribes to operate gaming facilities as a means of promoting economic development, self-sufficiency, and strong tribal governments. Scope and scale. There are 527 American Indian gaming operations in the U.S., which are owned by 245 of the 574 federally recognized tribes. These casinos operate in 29 states and collectively generate over $32 billion in annual revenue, which accounts for about 43% of all casino gaming revenue in the country. The largest Native American casino is the Foxwoods Resort Casino in Mashantucket, Connecticut, which is owned by the Mashantucket Pequot Tribal Nation. Economic and social impact. The money generated from casinos has had a profound impact on many Native American communities, providing a much-needed source of revenue that has helped to fund essential infrastructure, healthcare, education, and social services. This has helped some tribes achieve a greater degree of economic independence and improve the quality of life for their members. Additionally, the money is often reinvested back into the community through housing, scholarships, and efforts to preserve tribal languages and cultures. Beyond the direct beneficiaries, the presence of casinos has also changed the economic climate in many rural areas where they are located. By creating jobs and attracting visitors, they have helped to stimulate local economies and provide opportunities for businesses and residents alike. Legal and regulatory framework. Despite the widespread presence of Native American casinos, it's important to note that they are not permitted in every state and their operations are subject to a complex legal and regulatory framework. The Indian Gaming Regulatory Act sets out the rules for casino operations on tribal lands and requires tribes to negotiate compacts with state governments for certain types of gaming. These compacts often involve revenue-sharing agreements and other forms of cooperation between the tribe and the state. Because tribes maintain their sovereignty over their lands, they are able to operate casinos even in states where gambling might be restricted or prohibited elsewhere. Common myths. While casino revenue has greatly benefited some tribes, it's a common misconception that all Native American communities operate casinos or receive substantial income from gaming. In reality, only a little over half of the federally recognized tribes are engaged in gaming, and the distribution of benefits from gaming varies widely. Furthermore, while gaming can be an important source of revenue, it's just one of many economic development strategies that tribes use to promote self-sufficiency and improve the well-being of their members. In summary, Native American casinos are a significant part of the U.S. gaming industry, providing vital economic support for hundreds of Native American tribes and their communities. They offer a unique example of how tribal governments can exercise their sovereignty to create economic opportunities and improve the lives of their citizens. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Hey, this is your host, and you're watching this channel. Today's big question: what is Native American sovereignty, and why does it matter? Sovereignty comes from the Latin word for supreme power. And when we talk about Native American sovereignty, we're talking about the inherent authority of indigenous tribes to govern themselves within the borders of the United States. But how can this be? The U.S. is one big country, and states within it have a certain amount of power. Doesn't that include Native American tribes? Well, no. Because tribal nations are distinct, self-governing entities with the right to manage their own affairs, independent of state governments. Tribal sovereignty includes the right to establish their own form of government, determine who's eligible to be a member, enact legislation, establish law enforcement and court systems, regulate their internal affairs, preserve their unique cultures, and control their own economies. And in all these ways, exercise their inherent sovereignty. And what's more, the U.S. Constitution recognizes Indian tribes as distinct governments. And with a few exceptions, they have many of the same powers as federal and state governments. The federal government acknowledges a government-to-government relationship with federally recognized tribes, which means these tribes possess certain inherent rights of self-government and are eligible for funding and services from the Bureau of Indian Affairs. But most importantly, tribal governments are the oldest sovereigns on this continent. Their sovereignty predates the formation of the United States. When European colonizers arrived, there were hundreds of distinct sovereign tribal nations. And even after the U.S. government began its systematic campaign of removing tribes from their lands, the tribe's sovereignty was never extinguished. They retained their inherent right to self-governance, which is a big part of what we mean by Native American sovereignty today. In short, Native American sovereignty is foundational to the political, cultural, and legal status of tribes in the U.S. It ensures their right to self-determination and the preservation of their heritage and their own systems of governance. It's a vital concept for understanding the history, culture, and politics of the United States, and for appreciating the resilience and strength of Native American communities. So that's what Native American sovereignty is and why it matters. For more insights on this topic, check out the resources. And thanks for watching. For centuries, Native American communities have had some of the most severe environmental issues in the United States. These problems are deeply intertwined with the historical dispossession of tribal lands, ongoing marginalization, and the unique relationship Indigenous peoples have with their ancestral lands and natural resources. From water contamination to climate change, here's a look at some of the major environmental challenges facing Native Americans today. Many Native American communities are disproportionately affected by pollution and resource contamination, including water contamination, air pollution, mining waste, and illegal dumping. These environmental hazards threaten not only public health, but also traditional ways of life that depend on clean water, land, and air. For example, lack of access to healthy foods and clean water remains a persistent problem. And the protection of sacred sites is often compromised by industrial activities. Mining, for instance, is a major issue as tribes fight to protect their lands from the environmental and health impacts of mining operations. This includes uranium mining, which has a long history on Indigenous lands and has left a legacy of contamination and health problems. Climate change is hitting Native American communities especially hard. From Alaska to Florida, tribes are experiencing rising sea levels, increased flooding, droughts, and wildfires. These impacts are intensified by the fact that many tribes were forced onto lands that are now particularly vulnerable to climate risks. Research shows that Indigenous nations have lost nearly 99% of their historical land base, and the lands they retain are often at greater risk from climate change. For example, the state of Oklahoma, which is home to several Native American reservations, is now experiencing more frequent and severe droughts, making it harder for tribes to grow crops and threatening their food security. Environmental exposures have direct impacts on health, including reproductive health and chronic disease rates. And environmental racism and a lack of access to health care contribute to the higher disease burdens and lower health status that Native Americans experience compared to other Americans. The fight for environmental justice is closely linked to the broader struggle for Indigenous rights and sovereignty. As sovereign nations, tribes have both the right and the responsibility to govern and protect their environments. Many Native communities are leading efforts to restore ecosystems, protect sacred sites, and advocate for sustainable practices. For example, the White Earth Land Recovery Project in Minnesota is working to reclaim and restore tribal lands, including prairies, forests, and wetlands. In summary, Native American environmental issues are shaped by a legacy of land loss, ongoing pollution, and the disproportionate impacts of climate change. Despite these challenges, Native communities are at the forefront of environmental stewardship and justice, working to protect their lands, health, and cultural heritage for future generations. Hello, my name is Anonymous. I am one of the narrators for this episode. In this episode, we will be discussing Native American literature. First, let's get a definition. What is Native American literature? Native American literature is the body of work created by Native Americans in the United States from ancient times to the present day. It encompasses both oral and written works, including myths, legends, poetry, novels, memoirs, and essays. Though the United States and Canada share a continent and many similarities, it is important to note that Native American literature is distinct from the literature of Indigenous First Nations writers in Canada, despite the fact that they have shared histories and themes. The roots of Native American literature can be found in the oral traditions of various Indigenous tribes. Storytelling has always been central to Native American culture. Through the sharing of myths, legends, folktales, songs, and histories, tribal members learn their culture, explain the world around them, and preserve their tribal identity. These stories, often passed down from grandparents to grandchildren, were and still are a primary means of transmitting cultural knowledge and values. Storytelling typically took place in a communal setting, such as around a fire, and was an integral part of daily life as well as ceremonial occasions. With colonization and the spread of literacy, Native Americans began to produce written literature. The early 20th century saw the emergence of writers who adapted traditional stories for a wider audience, while also exploring contemporary issues facing Native communities. The mid to late 20th century witnessed what is now referred to as the Native American literary renaissance, a surge in the number of books published by Native authors. This era marked a significant departure from the stereotypical and often inaccurate portrayals of Native Americans in literature prior to this time. Writers like N. Scott Momaday, Leslie Marmon Silko, Louise Erdrich, and Simon Ortiz gained prominence, publishing works that offered profound insights into Native American cultures, histories, and contemporary life experiences. Several themes are prevalent in Native American literature. One common theme is the connection to land and nature. Many works reflect a deep relationship with the environment and the importance of preserving tribal lands and resources. Another recurring theme is identity and survival. Native American literature often explores the complexities of Native identity in the face of colonization and cultural disruption, as well as the resilience and survival of Native peoples throughout history. Many works also celebrate community and tradition, highlighting the importance of family, community, and the transmission of cultural traditions as a means of preserving identity. Additionally, a significant theme in Native American literature is the act of bridging worlds. Many writers navigate the divides between public and private cultures, as well as between native and non-native experiences. Finally, sovereignty and resistance are prominent themes, with many works addressing issues of sovereignty, land rights, justice, and the struggle against oppression. If you would like to learn more about Native American literature, we highly recommend checking out the works of Leslie Marmon Silko and Louise Erdrich. Two of Silko's most famous works are Ceremony and Storyteller. Ceremony, published in 1977, is a landmark novel that tells the story of Tayo, a Laguna Pueblo veteran struggling to heal from the trauma of World War II and readjust to his tribal community. The novel is celebrated for its complex narrative structure and lyrical prose, as well as its exploration of themes such as trauma, healing, and the importance of cultural identity and tradition. Another notable work by Silko is Storyteller, a collection of interconnected stories that follow the lives of the residents of Laguna Pueblo over the course of several decades. The stories in this collection offer a rich portrayal of Native American life, culture, and community. Louise Erdrich is another highly acclaimed Native American author. Her most famous works include Love Medicine, The Roundhouse, and Future Home of the Living God. The Roundhouse, published in 2012, is a powerful novel that blends elements of mystery, family drama, and social commentary. The story follows a 13-year-old boy who becomes involved in a police investigation when his mother is assaulted on their reservation in North Dakota. Through this mystery, Erdrich explores themes of justice, community, and the impact of historical trauma on contemporary Native American life. These are just two examples of the many talented Native American authors writing today. We encourage you to explore their works and those of other Native American writers to gain a deeper appreciation for the richness and diversity of Native American literature. In conclusion, Native American literature is a treasure trove of stories that reflect the beauty, strength, and resilience of indigenous peoples in North America. From the earliest oral traditions to the works of contemporary authors, these stories continue to teach us about history, identity, and the ongoing vitality of Native cultures. As we continue to learn about and celebrate Native American literature, we honor the voices and perspectives that have shaped and continue to shape our literary landscape. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed this episode and learned something new, please don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an exciting new episode. See you next time. Native American art history. It's time to learn about it. Native American art is one of the world's oldest artistic traditions. With roots stretching back over 13,000 years, it encompasses a vast array of styles, media, and meanings. Early Native Americans expressed themselves through petroglyphs, pottery, weaving, and carved objects. These artworks were not mere decorations. They were integral to daily life, spirituality, and the environment. As time evolved, so did Native American art. It's not a monolithic tradition, but a rich tapestry woven from the threads of many cultures. From the intricate beadwork of the Plains tribes to the towering totem poles of the Northwest coast, and the elegant pottery of the Southwest, each region and tribe developed its own motifs, techniques, and forms. Art objects frequently served both functional roles as containers, clothing, or tools, as well as spiritual and symbolic meanings. The artistic traditions were deeply connected to oral histories, myths, and legends, serving as tangible links to the past and powerful ways of communicating stories and values. Despite attempts by colonizers to suppress native cultures, art persevered as a dynamic means of resistance, survival, and cultural continuity. The arrival of Europeans did introduce new materials, like glass beads and metal, which Native Americans incorporated into their art, but also imposed severe challenges. As trade routes expanded, new artistic motifs and techniques spread, leading to hybrid styles that blended indigenous and European influences. Today, Native American artists continue to push boundaries, blending traditional techniques with contemporary themes and media. Their work can be found in major museums and galleries, finally receiving the recognition it deserves. To truly appreciate Native American art history, we must acknowledge the immense diversity within this artistic tradition and the profound impact of colonialism. But we must also celebrate the resilience, creativity, and sheer brilliance of indigenous artists who have shaped not only their own cultural landscapes, but the art history of the Americas. So what do you think? What's your favorite piece of Native American art? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more art history. The U.S. government's role in Native American education has been a long and often painful one. For much of the 19th and 20th centuries, the government operated boarding schools that were designed to assimilate Native children into Anglo-American culture. These schools often stripped students of their native languages, traditions, and identities, causing deep intergenerational trauma. The legacy of these schools still affects Native communities today. But what does Native American education look like now? What are the challenges and progress being made? Native American students continue to face significant disparities in educational outcomes. Only 13% of Native Americans hold a college degree compared to 28% of the general population. Graduation rates are also lower, especially for those attending Bureau of Indian Education or BIE schools. The graduation rate for BIE schools is just 53%. Many mainstream curricula have also historically ignored or misrepresented Native histories and cultures. This lack of representation can lead to disengagement and a sense of alienation among Native students. Additionally, schools serving Native communities often have fewer resources, less funding, and higher teacher turnover, which can impact the quality of education. Despite these challenges, there have been some recent positive developments. States like Wyoming and California have begun to require the inclusion of Native American history, culture, and contemporary contributions in their educational standards and curricula. This helps all students, Native and non-Native, gain a more accurate understanding of indigenous peoples. There are also several advocacy and support organizations like the National Indian Education Association, or NIEA, that work to equip educators and advocates with the tools they need to support Native students and promote culturally relevant education. State offices of Native education also provide assistance to school districts to help them better meet the needs of Native students, and reports like Becoming Visible from the Center for Native American Youth highlight the importance of high-quality Native American educational content for all students. This is important because for Native American students, education that honors their heritage and reflects their lived experiences is crucial for academic success, cultural pride, and community well-being. For non-Native students, learning about Native histories and cultures fosters respect, understanding, and a more complete view of American society. In conclusion, Native American education has come a long way from the days of forced assimilation at government-run boarding schools. While challenges remain, the shift towards culturally responsive curriculum, advocacy and support, as well as greater inclusion in state standards, are all positive steps towards creating a more equitable and accurate educational experience for Native students and communities. Native American storytelling, also known as oral tradition, refers to the various forms of storytelling that have been practiced by indigenous peoples of the Americas for thousands of years. It's important to note that storytelling is not just a hobby or pastime for Native Americans. It's a deeply rooted tradition with a profound purpose. In this short video, we'll explore what Native American storytelling is, its role and purpose, the forms and methods used, common themes and modern relevance. What is Native American storytelling? Native American storytelling is a time-honored custom that serves as the primary means of preserving and transmitting history, culture, values, and collective wisdom across generations. Unlike Western narrative structures, which often emphasize plot and individual heroes, Native storytelling is more cyclical, interconnected, and holistic, reflecting the worldview of indigenous peoples who see themselves as part of a larger web of life. Role and purpose. Storytellers, often specially trained individuals, play a crucial role in Native American communities. They are respected teachers and historians who share the tribe's past, memory, and collective wisdom. The purpose of storytelling extends beyond mere entertainment. It is a powerful tool for education, cultural continuity, spiritual growth, and social cohesion. Through stories, traditional knowledge is imparted, cultural values are reinforced, and younger generations are taught the history, customs, and beliefs of their people. Forms and methods. Storytelling in Native American cultures primarily takes place through an oral tradition. Most stories are told aloud in communal settings, such as during ceremonies, feasts, or around campfires. This method not only transmits stories but also creates a sense of intimacy and connection between the storyteller and the audience. Some tribes, such as those of the northern Great Plains, recorded their histories through pictographic paintings on bison hides called winter counts. These visual records, preserved by designated keepers, served as a valuable resource for remembering and transmitting historical events. Themes and content. Native American stories cover a wide range of themes and can be classified into various types. Creation and origin stories explain how the world, people, and animals came to be. Trickster tales, often featuring animals with human characteristics, convey moral lessons and cultural values. Historical stories recount significant events and the deeds of ancestral heroes. Personal narratives may teach life lessons or preserve family history. The content of these stories reflects the deep connection Native Americans have with their environment, their ancestors, and the spiritual world. Many stories emphasize the interconnectedness of all living things and the importance of living in harmony with nature. Others highlight the values of respect, humility, bravery, and the importance of community. Still, others deal with more realistic and sometimes taboo subjects, such as death, warfare, and societal issues. Humor is also a common element in Native American storytelling, as is a realistic portrayal of everyday life. Modern relevance. Native American storytelling continues to thrive in contemporary times. Storytellers use new media and online platforms to share their stories with wider audiences while preserving the integrity and sacredness of their traditions. Storytelling remains a vital means of cultural preservation, identity assertion, and education for Native communities. It also serves as a bridge for non-Native audiences to learn about and appreciate the rich diversity of Native American cultures. In conclusion, Native American storytelling is a vibrant and dynamic tradition that has played a pivotal role in shaping indigenous cultures for centuries. It is a living, breathing art form that continues to teach, inspire, and unite Native communities and those who appreciate the beauty of oral storytelling. Native American powwows, what are they all about? Have you ever witnessed a Native American powwow? If not, you're in for a treat. If so, we'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. In this video, we'll cover what a powwow is, why it's important, and some of the key elements that make it such a special event. But first, let's start with the basics. What is a powwow? A powwow is a vibrant gathering of Native American and First Nations communities that typically includes dance, music, food, and a celebration of culture. The word powwow itself means a social gathering in many Native American languages. It's a chance for people from many different tribes to come together, honor their traditions, and share their heritage with others. Dancing is at the heart of every powwow. Dancers wear colorful regalia, which are their traditional outfits, and perform a variety of dances. Each dance tells a story and has its own unique meaning and style. There are often competitions for different age groups and dance categories, and the best dancers can win prizes. The drumming and singing are just as important as the dancing. Drum groups provide the powerful rhythms and songs that guide the dancers. Singing is done in native languages or with vocables, which are syllables like who and he that have no specific meaning but add musicality to the songs. The drum, though, is considered the heartbeat of the gathering. Speaking of gatherings, these events aren't just about dancing. They are a time for Native people to come together, share experiences, and make new connections. Many powwows are open to the public, and non-Native visitors are often welcome to attend and learn about Native American culture. You might also see vendors selling Native arts, crafts, jewelry, and traditional foods. This is a great way to support Native artists and entrepreneurs and to get a taste of Indigenous cuisine. But why are powwows so important? What's the meaning behind them? For Native Americans, powwows are more than just festivals. They are a way to honor their ancestors, pass down traditions, and celebrate resilience. They help preserve languages, dances, and songs that have been passed down for generations. And they provide a space for intergenerational learning. Today, you can find powwows all over North America. Some are small community gatherings, while others are large intertribal festivals. Some are competitive and feature prizes for dance and drum groups, while others focus on social dancing and cultural sharing. No matter what form they take, though, powwows are an essential part of Native American life. They are a chance to celebrate identity, culture, and community through dance, music, and the spoken word. We hope you've enjoyed learning about Native American powwows. If you'd like to attend one, we encourage you to reach out to local Native American organizations or communities to find out when and where they are held. You're in for a day of music, dance, and cultural celebration that you won't forget. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Native American ceremonies. Meaning, types, and cultural importance. In the tapestry of Native American cultures, ceremonies and rituals are the vibrant threads that connect generations, preserve cultural identity, and fortify the bonds between people and the land. But what exactly are Native American ceremonies? What's their significance and how do they manifest across different tribes? Let's delve into this essential aspect of Native American life. First off, ceremonies and rituals aren't just events. They're a way of life. For Native Americans, spirituality isn't confined to a church or a temple. It's interwoven into the everyday, a perspective that Westerners might not always grasp. Ceremonies are a tangible link to the spiritual realm, a means to keep the balance of life in harmony. Now let's explore the diverse types of ceremonies that flourish within Native American communities. Healing ceremonies are a cornerstone of Native medicine. Illness, be it physical or emotional, is viewed through a holistic lens, encompassing the body, mind, and spirit. These ceremonies, through songs, drumming, prayers, and the use of sacred plants, aim to restore balance and harmony. It's important to note that many tribes have specific ceremonies for different ailments, demonstrating the depth and breadth of their healing traditions. Life cycle and visionary ceremonies mark significant transitions: birth, coming of age, marriage, even death. The Plains tribes, for instance, have the Dream Dance and the Sun Dance. These aren't merely celebrations, but opportunities for spiritual insight and community renewal. The agricultural ceremonies, such as the green corn ceremony among the southeastern tribes, are not just religious rituals, but also a way of life. They celebrate the ripening of the corn harvest, a pivotal moment that ushers in the new year and renews life. These ceremonies often involve communal feasting, dancing, and the cleansing of homes and public spaces. Community and renewal ceremonies are the threads that weave the social fabric of Native American life. They are gatherings that bring people together to reaffirm shared beliefs, honor ancestors, and renew social bonds. Common features include drum circles, singing and dancing, which not only entertain, but also foster a sense of unity and spiritual connection. To truly grasp the significance of Native American ceremonies, we must look at some of the major ceremonial gatherings. The sun dance, widely practiced by Plains tribes, is a powerful ceremony that unfolds over several days. It involves dancing, fasting, and prayer. Participants seek spiritual renewal and healing for themselves and the community. The ghost dance, which emerged in the 19th century, was a religious movement that spread across the Great Plains. At a time when Native Americans faced immense hardships, the ghost dance offered a message of spiritual renewal and hope. Today, despite historical attempts to ban and suppress these practices, Native Americans from Alaska to Mexico continue to honor their traditions. Ceremonies play an essential role in maintaining cultural identity, promoting wellness and teaching respect for the land and ancestors. They are not mere rituals, but living expressions of cultural identity, ensuring that the heritage of Native Americans continues to thrive. In conclusion, Native American ceremonies are more than rituals. They're a testament to the depth, complexity, and resilience of Native cultures. Through these ceremonies, Native Americans maintain a profound connection to their past, present, and future. They uphold their cultural identity, strengthen their communities, and ensure that their traditions continue to flourish. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, subscribe to stay updated on our latest videos. Thanks for watching. Native American medicine, a rich tapestry of traditions and practices that have been passed down through generations, offers a unique perspective on health and healing. In this short video, we'll explore what Native American medicine is all about, shedding light on its core principles, key elements, and lasting impact. Before we start, please take some time to like this video and subscribe for more informative content. Also, please feel free to share your thoughts, experiences, and suggestions in the comments below. Your engagement is valuable, and we look forward to reading your comments. So let's dive in. What is Native American medicine? Native American medicine is a holistic system that integrates physical, spiritual, emotional, and community well-being. The concept of medicine in many indigenous cultures goes beyond pharmaceuticals or treatments. It encompasses anything that brings balance, healing, and harmony. This can include plants, ceremonies, spiritual practices, and even community support. Sacred medicines and healing plants. Many native cultures honor 4 plants as especially sacred: tobacco, cedar, sage, and sweetgrass. These are used in ceremonies for purification, prayer, and healing, supporting spiritual, physical, and emotional health. Tobacco is used as an offering and for prayers, but it's not typically smoked recreationally. Cedar is burned for purification and protection. Sage is used to cleanse spaces and people of negative energy. Sweetgrass is braided and burned to invite positive energies. Besides these sacred medicines, Native Americans have a deep knowledge of local plants for treating illness. For example, willow bark was chewed to relieve pain. Its active ingredient, salicin, is the basis for modern aspirin. Many other native plants are used for teas, poultices, and salves. Medicine people and spiritual healing. Medicine people, often called medicine men or medicine women, are respected healers who use specialized knowledge of plants, rituals, and spiritual practices to treat illness and restore balance. They play a crucial role in preserving traditional knowledge and passing it down to new generations. Healing is often a communal process involving ceremonies, songs, drumming, and the use of sacred objects. The focus is on restoring harmony between the individual, the community, and the natural world. The medicine wheel. The medicine wheel, or sacred hoop, is a powerful symbol representing the interconnectedness of life, the 4 directions, and the cycles of nature. It is a teaching and healing tool used to guide people toward balance and wellness. Each direction, east, south, west, and north, is associated with specific elements, colors, animals, and teachings. The wheel is a reminder that all aspects of life are interconnected and that balance is essential for healing. Contributions to modern medicine. Many Native American remedies and practices predate and have influenced Western medicine. The use of willow bark for pain relief and other plant-based treatments have been adopted and adapted by modern science. Native American culture's intimate knowledge of plants and natural remedies has led to the discovery and development of numerous medicines derived from natural sources. In summary, Native American medicine is a holistic, spiritual, and practical tradition that uses sacred plants, ceremonies, and community to promote health and healing. Its wisdom continues to influence both indigenous and mainstream approaches to wellness today. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Your support means a lot to us. Additionally, feel free to share your thoughts, experiences, and suggestions in the comments below. We value your input and look forward to engaging with you. Stay well and see you in the next video. Native American healing, a holistic approach to health. Healing in many Native American cultures is not just about treating the body, it's about treating the mind and spirit too. It's a holistic system that has been used for centuries to promote health and well-being. This approach is so comprehensive that it's recognized as a whole medical system by the National Institutes of Health. It's used to address a wide range of health concerns, from common colds to chronic conditions and everything in between. At the heart of Native healing are key practices and ceremonies. One of the most prominent is the sweat lodge. This purification ritual uses the cleansing power of heat, steam, and prayer to heal the body and spirit. Guided by a healer or elder, participants sweat profusely, purifying themselves and emerging feeling refreshed and renewed. Another essential practice is drumming. The steady beat of the drum is more than just rhythmic. It's a powerful tool to restore spiritual balance. Singing and music therapy are also integral, helping individuals express their emotions and heal from trauma. Many tribes also incorporate massage, healing touch, and other bodywork techniques to remove spiritual intrusions or restore the flow of energy in the body. Talking stick and storytelling are also important. They allow individuals to share their experiences in a safe, respectful, and supportive environment. This is especially crucial for emotional healing and fostering a sense of community. The medicine wheel is another powerful tool used in healing. This symbolic representation of the cycles of life, the directions and the elements is used for teaching and healing. Native healing is not just about treating illness, it's about restoring balance and harmony. It's about healing the mind, body, and spirit and recognizing their interconnectedness. It's a spiritual and community-centered approach that values the wisdom of elders and the power of collective healing. Many Native American health organizations now integrate these traditional practices with Western medicine. They recognize the value of both traditional knowledge and modern healthcare, creating a balanced approach to healing. This integration is a testament to the resilience and adaptability of Native healing traditions. In some states, Medicaid now covers traditional practices like sweat lodges and drumming, recognizing their therapeutic value. This is a significant step toward acknowledging and supporting Native healing practices. Despite attempts in the past to suppress these practices, even making ceremonies illegal in some areas until the late 20th century, Native healing has endured. Today, there's a growing interest and revitalization of these ancient practices. More and more people are turning to Native healing to address their health concerns and find balance in their lives. Native American healing is a vibrant, living tradition that continues to shape the health and well-being of Native communities. Its holistic, spiritual, and community-centered approach offers a powerful path to healing and balance. If you found this video informative, please consider liking it and sharing it with those who might be interested in Native American healing, or just want to learn more about different cultures and their traditions. Your support helps spread awareness about these important topics. Hey everyone, have you ever wondered about the symbols that you see in Native American art? Maybe you've come across a Native American symbol that you really like, but you don't know what it means or where it comes from. Well, today we're going to talk about Native American symbols and their meanings. First, let's define what we mean by Native American symbols. Native American symbols are visual representations such as pictographs, petroglyphs, and motifs used by indigenous peoples to convey stories, beliefs, values, and aspects of daily life. Instead of a written language, Native Americans often use these images to communicate and record important information. So what do these symbols mean? And why are they important? Native American symbols are deeply rooted in culture and tradition, serving as a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. They are used to tell stories and preserve history, represent clans, families, or tribes, crests, convey spiritual beliefs and teachings, offer protection or blessings, and mark territory or sacred sites. Each symbol has a unique meaning and significance, often passed down through generations and embedded in oral histories and ceremonies. Let's look at some common Native American symbols and their meanings. The arrow symbol represents protection, defense, and direction. A broken arrow symbolizes peace among tribes. The arrowhead signifies alertness, courage, and protection. As a physical object, it was used for hunting and defense. The bison or buffalo symbolizes sacred life, abundance, and manifestation. For the Lakota, the buffalo teaches that survival does not require struggle if one acts rightly. The eagle represents strength, courage, and a connection to the Creator. Eagles are often seen as messengers between humans and the spirit world. The bear symbolizes strength, leadership, and healing. The turtle represents longevity, endurance, and the earth itself, as in the Iroquois creation story of Turtle Island. The thunderbird is a powerful supernatural being that symbolizes power, protection, and transformation. Water, often depicted as wavy lines, symbolizes life, purification, and renewal. The sun and moon represent the cycles of life, time, and the balance between masculine and feminine energies. These symbols can be found in various forms of Native American art, including jewelry, textiles, and pottery. Designs often incorporate meaningful symbols for protection, identity, or storytelling. Textiles and pottery, patterns and motifs reflect tribal heritage and beliefs. Rock art, such as petroglyphs and pictographs, are ancient forms of symbolic communication. Totem poles and crests used by Northwest Coast tribes to represent family lineage and spiritual beings. It's important to remember that there are hundreds of tribes, each with its own unique symbols and meanings. So if you ever come across a Native American symbol that you don't recognize, don't assume you know its meaning. Do some research or ask a member of that tribe for more information. When using or displaying Native American symbols, it's respectful to understand their origins and significance. Many symbols are sacred and should be treated with reverence. By learning about Native American symbols, we can appreciate the rich cultural heritage and traditions of Indigenous peoples and show respect for their knowledge and wisdom. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more educational content. Hey, this is your host with the National Museum of the American Indian. Today we're going to talk about Native American artifacts. So what are Native American artifacts? Native American artifacts are objects that were created, used, or valued by the indigenous peoples of North America over thousands of years. These objects provide a tangible link to Native history, culture, and daily life. And they range from everyday tools to ceremonial objects to works of art. Some examples include items like stone arrowheads, pottery, woven baskets, weapons, tools, pipes, masks, wooden carvings, jewelry, and personal adornments. But to better understand this vast and varied subject, let's break it down into 6 categories. First, we have tools and weapons. So these are things like stone arrowheads, spear points, knives, scrapers, and axes. These were essential for hunting, for food preparation, and for survival. Next, we have pottery and containers. So these are things like clay pots, bowls, and storage vessels. They were used for cooking and storing food. And pottery styles and decorations often reflect specific tribal traditions. Then we have textiles and clothing. So these are things like woven baskets, blankets, and clothing made from animal hides or plant fibers. Beadwork and quillwork are also distinctive art forms. Next, we have ceremonial objects. So these are items like pipes, masks, rattles, and wooden carvings. These were used in religious and social ceremonies. And some artifacts feature symbols and designs with spiritual meanings. After that, we have jewelry and personal adornments. So these are things like necklaces, earrings, bracelets, and other decorative items. They're made from shell, bone, turquoise, silver, and other materials. And finally, we have rock art. So these are petroglyphs, which are carvings on stone surfaces, and pictographs, which are paintings. Pictographs, they depict animals, people, and spiritual beings. When we look at the materials that Native Americans used to make these artifacts, we find that they crafted them from a wide variety of materials, including stone, bone, wood, shell, clay, and later metals. Stone was especially durable, which is why so many arrowheads and tools have survived to today. Now, why are artifacts so important? Well, first, they help archaeologists and historians understand how Native peoples lived, what they valued, and how their cultures evolved over time. Second, many artifacts are still used in ceremonies and are important symbols of tribal identity and heritage. Third, the craftsmanship and artistry of Native American artifacts are celebrated in museums and collections worldwide. The National Museum of the American Indian, for example, holds over 825,000 items representing more than 1,200 indigenous cultures and 12,000 years of history. And finally, collecting and preserving artifacts is a hobby and a profession for some people. There are also ethical considerations regarding the ownership and display of sacred or funerary objects. And laws like the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act, also known as NAGPRA, help ensure that sacred and ancestral items are returned to their rightful communities. In conclusion, Native American artifacts are extremely diverse. They range from practical tools to ceremonial objects to intricate works of art. They are invaluable for understanding the depth and richness of indigenous cultures, both past and present. And if you're interested in seeing authentic artifacts for yourself, visit a museum like the National Museum of the American Indian. We have extensive collections and educational resources to bring these important objects to life for our visitors. Thanks for listening. This has been your host with the National Museum of the American Indian. Native American religion, a term encompassing the spiritual beliefs, practices, and worldviews of the indigenous peoples of North America. Hey there, welcome to Crash Course, where we take you on an exciting journey through the great stories and thinkers of our world's religions. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge that the land on which we are located is the traditional territory of the Myaamia people, and we are grateful for their care and stewardship of this land over many generations. We encourage you to learn about the history of the place where you live and the indigenous people who have cared for it for generations. So, what is Native American religion? Because the term Native American religion describes a wide range of spiritual traditions practiced by hundreds of distinct indigenous nations across North America, each with their own beliefs and practices. So saying Native American religion is like saying Asian food. It's just too broad. That said, there are some common threads that run through many Native American spiritual traditions. Most Native traditions are animistic, meaning they believe that everything in the natural world has a spirit and is interconnected. This worldview is often referred to as sacred naturalism. For Native Americans, the earth itself is sacred, and humans are part of the earth and responsible for taking care of it. So they view themselves not as masters of nature, but as its caretakers or stewards. Another common thread is the importance of balance and harmony. This idea shows up in various forms, but generally it means keeping things in balance, not just in the natural world, but also within oneself and one's community. Many Native traditions have rituals and ceremonies to help people maintain balance and harmony, such as the Sweat Lodge and the Vision Quest. Most Native American religions are also polytheistic, meaning they believe in many gods or spirits. However, there is no single god or creator that all Native Americans worship. Some believe in a supreme being, which they call the Great Spirit or the Creator, and other spirits, including ancestors and animal powers. But the beliefs about these spirits vary greatly from tribe to tribe. Most Native Americans also believe that everything is interconnected, and that humans are responsible for taking care of the earth and all its inhabitants. They also tend to be highly respectful of their ancestors and often call on them for guidance and protection. Native American religions are rich and varied and have been practiced for thousands of years. They have been an important part of Native American culture and identity and have helped Native Americans maintain a deep connection to the land and each other. Next time, we will explore some of the ways that Native American religions have been impacted by colonization and how they have continued to thrive despite the challenges they have faced. If you want to learn more about Native American religions, we've got you covered. We've linked to additional resources including books, articles, and videos that can help you learn more about this fascinating topic. We also encourage you to reach out to your local library or bookstore for more recommendations. And be sure to stay tuned for next time when we continue our exploration of Native American religions. Thanks for watching this episode of Crash Course, a production of a digital studio in partnership with a university. You want to help keep Crash Course free for everyone forever? You can join our community on a crowdfunding platform. Welcome to my channel. Today we'll explore Native American mythology. I know there's a lot of talk about Greek and Roman mythology, but let's not forget the mythology from right here in the United States. First off, What is Native American mythology? Well, it's the body of myths, legends, spiritual beliefs, and sacred narratives that belong to the indigenous peoples of North America. Each tribe or nation has its own mythology, which is passed down through generations, often orally, and is deeply woven into daily life, ritual, and identity. So what are some key features of Native American mythology? First, there's diversity. We're talking hundreds of distinct tribes, each with their own unique myths and worldviews. For example, the Hopi, Lakota, Iroquois, Navajo, Cherokee, Inuit, and Haida traditions all have very different mythologies. Second, it's an oral tradition. Stories are traditionally passed down by word of mouth, not written text, making the role of the storyteller sacred. Third, animism. Most native mythologies hold that all things, animals, plants, rivers, rocks, possess a spirit or life force. So everything is connected and should be respected. Fourth, connection to nature. Myths are rooted in the environment, explaining the origins of animals, the land, the seasons, and natural phenomena. For example, a tribe might have a story explaining why a river is there or how the mountains were formed. And fifth, spirits and deities. Myths often feature powerful spirits, gods, and supernatural beings. Some are creators, others tricksters, and many serve as guides or teachers. Now let's look at some common themes and motifs in Native American mythology. First, creation myths. These stories explain how the world, humans, and animals came into existence. For example, the Iroquois have a myth called Sky Woman, which tells how the earth was formed on the back of a giant turtle. Then there are trickster figures. Now, tricksters are characters like Coyote, Raven, or Nanabojo, who are clever, mischievous, and sometimes foolish. They often shape the world through their adventures and mistakes. Coyote, for instance, is famous for stealing fire from the gods and giving it to humans. This story is found among many Plains and Southwest tribes. Next, culture heroes. These are legendary beings who bring knowledge, skills, or essential gifts to the people. These could be things like fire, corn, hunting tools, or even the calendar. Often these heroes have to overcome great challenges to obtain these gifts. The Navajo, for example, have a myth about the hero twins who journey to the underworld to defeat monsters and bring back the sun. Then we have animal spirits and totems. Animals play a big role in Native American mythology. They can be teachers, ancestors, or guides. Some tribes have clans or totems represented by animals like the bear, eagle, wolf, or spider woman. There are countless myths featuring these animals. Finally, there are myths about the underworld and afterlife. Many cultures have stories about journeys to the spirit world or land of the dead. These myths reflect beliefs about what happens after death and the importance of respecting the dead. Some well-known Native American myths include Raven Steals the Sun, which is found among the Northwest Coast tribes. It's a trickster story where Raven brings light to the world by stealing the sun and moon from the sky people. Then we have the White Buffalo Woman from the Lakota people. She is a sacred woman who brings spiritual wisdom and ritual to the tribe. Next, there's How the Bear Lost His Tail, an Ojibwe trickster tale about how the Bear clan got their short tails. And finally, the Corn Mother from the southeastern tribes. She's a goddess who sacrifices herself to feed hungry humans, symbolizing the cycle of death and renewal. But why are these myths important? Well, they are an integral part of Native American spiritual practice, education, and cultural continuity. Myths are retold during rituals, seasonal festivals, and rites of passage. They teach important values like respect for nature, bravery, humility, cooperation, and respect for elders, and they preserve tribal history, laws, and ethics, especially where written records are absent. When it comes to women in Native American mythology, many myths feature powerful female spirits like the Corn Mother, White Buffalo Woman, and Spider Woman. Women are also the keepers of traditional knowledge and often the ones who pass down stories. So while we think of mythology as primarily a male domain, Native American tradition has many strong female figures and a matrilineal storytelling tradition. Finally, Native American mythology is not frozen in the past. It has adapted and changed over time, reflecting colonization, adaptation, and survival. Today, many Native communities are working to revitalize their mythologies through storytelling, literature, art, and education. If you want to learn more, start by reading works by Native authors like N. Scott Momaday, Leslie Marmon Silko, and Joy Harjo. Visit museums and tribal cultural centers. And most importantly, listen. Attend storytelling events or find oral histories online. In conclusion, Native American mythology is not just a collection of stories, it's a living, breathing tradition that has shaped and continues to shape the lives of indigenous peoples across the United States. These myths and legends offer a glimpse into a world that is both ancient and timeless, filled with wonder, wisdom, and a deep connection to the natural world. Native American folklore. Hi, this is your host. Today we're going to talk about Native American folklore, including stories, themes, and cultural significance. If you'd like to learn more about Native American culture, history, and current events, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an exciting episode. What is Native American folklore? Native American folklore refers to the traditional stories, myths, legends, and oral histories passed down for generations among the indigenous peoples of North America. These stories, which are not just entertainment, play a vital role in teaching moral lessons, explaining natural phenomena, preserving history, and reinforcing cultural values. Some key features of Native American folklore include its heavy emphasis on the oral tradition. Stories are told aloud by elders, storytellers, or family members, often around fires or during special gatherings such as ceremonies or social events. They are rarely written down in traditional societies and are meant to be shared and experienced orally. Native American folklore is also deeply spiritual and symbolic. It frequently involves spirits, animal helpers, tricksters, and gods, and reflects a worldview in which nature and the supernatural are deeply intertwined. The natural world is often seen as alive and possessing spiritual power, and animals frequently appear as characters with human-like qualities. Another key aspect is that stories are community-based and are often unique to each tribe or nation. They help define group identity and values and teach new generations about their culture and heritage. Some common themes in Native American folklore include creation stories, which vary among tribes, but typically explain how the world, humans, and other living things came into being. Trickster tales featuring characters like Coyote, Plains and Southwest, Raven, Northwest Coast, or Nanabojo, Ojibwe, who uses trickery and sometimes mischief to outsmart other characters and teach important lessons about humility, cleverness, or the dangers of greed. Animal stories where animals serve as teachers, helpers, adversaries, or even the ancestors of humans. For example, the Pueblo people tell stories about Spider-Woman, who teaches weaving and wisdom. Hero legends. Some tales feature culture heroes who bring fire or other gifts to humans, invent tools, or save the people from monsters or other disasters. For example, the Navajo hero twins defeat monsters to make the world safe. Explanatory myths, also known as etiological myths. These stories explain why things are the way they are. Why does the bear have a short tail? Why do the stars shine at night? These stories make complex concepts understandable and memorable. It's also important to note that women often play a central role in preserving and transmitting folklore, serving as the primary storytellers, especially to children. Stories are not only a form of entertainment, but a way to teach children how to behave, how to respect elders, and how to live in harmony with the natural world. In conclusion, Native American folklore is an essential part of indigenous cultures, preserving tribal history, law, and spiritual beliefs, especially in the absence of written records. It's a testament to the creativity, resilience, and adaptability of Native peoples and a source of cultural pride and identity. Today, Native authors, artists, and filmmakers are reinterpreting folklore in new and exciting ways through novels, movies, and art. Storytelling festivals and language revitalization programs are also working to keep these traditions alive. If you're interested in learning more about Native American folklore, read books by Native authors, attend storytelling events, and explore museums, cultural centers, and tribal websites. This has been Native American folklore. To continue exploring Native American culture, history, and current events, be sure to check out our other videos and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. What is Native American dance? Native American dance is more than just movement. It's a way of life, a story, a connection to the past, present, and future. If you want to understand Native American culture, you have to understand their dance. In this quick video, we'll explore what Native American dance means, the different styles, and why it's so important. But first, hit that subscribe button for more videos about Native American history and culture. So, what exactly is Native American dance? Native American dance refers to the many different kinds of dances practiced by indigenous peoples throughout North America. These dances are deeply intertwined with spiritual beliefs, history, community identity, and the cycles of nature. The purpose of Native American dance varies. Many dances honor the Creator, the spirits, ancestors, animals, or the land. They are an integral part of ceremonies such as healing ceremonies, harvest celebrations, sun dances, ghost dances, rain dances, and more. There are many common types of Native American dances. The most well-known are the powwow dances. Powwows are intertribal gatherings that typically feature both competitive and social dances. Some of the most common powwow dances include men's traditional dance and women's traditional dance. These dances often imitate the actions of warriors or hunters and are performed with deliberate, powerful movements. Women's traditional dance is known for its graceful, gliding steps and often includes a shawl or fan. Other common powwow dances include the grass dance, fancy dance, and the jingle dress dance. But there are also ceremonial dances like the sun dance, which is practiced by many Plains tribes. The sun dance is a sacred ceremony that involves days of dancing, fasting, and prayer. Then there's the ghost dance, a 19th century religious movement that spread among many tribes. The ghost dance was an effort to bring about spiritual renewal and the return of the buffalo and ancestors. Other types of dances include regional and tribal dances like the hoop dance, eagle dance, and rain dance. The hoop dance is a storytelling dance in which dancers use hoops to create shapes to represent animals, plants, and elements of nature. The eagle dance honors the eagle, a sacred bird in many native cultures. By mimicking its movements, dancers pay tribute to its power and grace. The rain dance, commonly seen in the American Southwest, is a prayer for rain, typically performed during times of drought. Now let's talk about costumes and regalia. Regalia are the sacred outfits worn by dancers and are not to be referred to as costumes. They are made with feathers, beads, animal hides, shells, and other materials that hold meaning for the tribe. The designs, colors, and patterns on regalia often symbolize tribal heritage, achievements, or spiritual visions. Feathers, especially eagle feathers, are highly honored and often used to represent courage, freedom, and the connection to the Creator. Drumming and singing are also essential to Native American dance. The drum provides the heartbeat of the dance, guiding the steps and energy of those who dance. Songs may use vocables, which are nonsense syllables used to mimic sounds of nature or tribal languages, and are often specific to the dance being performed. Women play an important role in dance and are not limited to any one type. Some dances like the jingle dress dance are specifically for women. This dance, which originated during the early 1900s, is considered a powerful healing ritual. Women's voices are also essential as singers and drummers, and they often help organize dances and events. Finally, Native American dance is a living tradition that connects generations through stories, songs, and steps. It's a way to preserve culture, language, and history. It's an act of resistance, resilience, and pride. Through dance, Native Americans continue to express their identity and spirituality despite centuries of oppression. Dance brings communities together, both within tribes and across nations, uniting people through their shared heritage and love for their cultures. To experience Native American dance for yourself, attend a public powwow or native festival. If you can't attend an event in person, watch documentaries or performances online, such as the annual Gathering of Nations powwow. You can also support Native artists and dance groups in your area. In conclusion, Native American dance is a profound expression of spirituality, history, and community. It's the heartbeat of their culture, a testament to their resilience and a celebration of their identity. Through dance, Native Americans connect with their ancestors, honor their traditions, and preserve their heritage for future generations. Native American music. What is Native American music? Native American music is the traditional music of the indigenous peoples of North America. Because of the vastness and diversity of the continent, it is home to hundreds of tribes and nations, each with their own languages, histories, and cultural practices. And so Native American music is incredibly diverse too. Key features and instruments. Most Native American music is very vocal-centric, featuring either a solo singer or group chanting. The songs may use vocables, which are syllables that don't have any specific meaning, as well as words in the tribal language. Rhythm and drumming. The drum is perhaps the most important instrument in Native American music. The drum is considered to be the heartbeat of Mother Earth, and the steady, resonant pulse of the drum shapes the musical form and structure of many ceremonial songs and social songs alike. Other instruments. Besides the drum, Native American musicians use a variety of percussion instruments, including rattles and shakers made from gourds, turtle shells, or other animal parts. Wind instruments such as flutes are common too, especially among the Plains and Southwest tribes. Flutes can be made from wood, bone, or cane, and are often used for courtship or to tell stories. Whistles, rasps, and bells are also used, often for special effects or symbolic purposes. String instruments like the Apache fiddle do exist, but are much less common. Types of Native American music. There are two main types of Native American music: ceremonial and religious music, and social and recreational music. As their names suggest, ceremonial and religious music is used during rituals such as healing ceremonies, vision quests, the sun dance, and the ghost dance, as well as at social gatherings like the powwow. These songs are often sacred and are not meant to be performed in public. Social and recreational music includes dance songs, love songs, lullabies, and music for storytelling. Of all the social music, powwow music is probably the best known today. At a powwow, different tribes come together, and intertribal competitions are a big part of the festivities. Men, women, and even children dance in different groups, and the music and dancing often goes late into the night. Storytelling songs. Besides the two main categories of music, there is also a significant amount of storytelling songs. These songs are used to pass down history, myth, and moral lessons from one generation to the next. The narrative and the performance are intertwined, and the music adds another layer to the storytelling. Regional styles. Due to the vast distances between tribes and nations, each region develops its own style of music. Some of the distinct regional styles include Plains music, which is known for its high-pitched vocals and tense singing style and large group drumming. Southwest music, which makes heavy use of falsetto and complex rhythms and incorporates the flute. Pacific Northwest music, which uses log drums, complex polyphony, and songs that are tied to the potlatch ceremony. And Eastern Woodlands music, which features call and response singing, and antiphonal styles as well as water drums. Contemporary Native music. Today, Native Americans continue to create new music that builds on ancient traditions while incorporating contemporary styles and sounds. Powwow music is still extremely popular, and these gatherings are open to many tribes and the public. Many Native artists also incorporate rock, hip-hop, country, and jazz into their music. Some notable artists include R. Carlos Nakai, who is known for his beautiful flute playing, Buffy Sainte Marie, who is a folk and rock singer-songwriter. A tribe called Red, who blends electronic music with traditional powwow music in a genre they call powwow step. Joanne Shenandoah, a powerful vocalist who has recorded many traditional and contemporary songs, and Robbie Robertson, a musician, singer-songwriter, and guitarist who was a member of the legendary rock band The Band. Cultural importance. Native American music is more than just entertainment. It is an integral part of Native culture. Through music, Native Americans connect to the land, their ancestors, and the spirit world. Music is a powerful way to express spirituality, and it brings people together. Songs are shared at ceremonies, socials, and family gatherings. They strengthen a sense of identity and unity and help preserve a cultural heritage. In a world where native languages and cultures are under threat due to colonization and assimilation, music is an important form of cultural memory that keeps traditions alive. If you're curious, listen and explore. There are many great recordings of Native American music available on YouTube and through the Smithsonian Folkways website. Search for powwow music, Native American flute music by R. Carlos Nakai or Kevin Locke, or contemporary Native fusion by a tribe called Red or Superman. In summary, Native American music is a living tradition. It is deeply spiritual, richly varied, and continually evolving. Whether heard at a powwow, a healing lodge, or on a modern stage, Native American music is a powerful expression of Native identity and resilience.
Influential Native American leaders. Native American history is rich with leaders who have shaped their nations, resisted colonization, and advanced the cause of indigenous rights. Here are some of the most notable Native American leaders, both historical and contemporary. Historical leaders. 1. Sitting Bull, Tatanka Iotake. Hunkpapa Lakota Sioux. Role: spiritual and military leader. Known for leading resistance against U.S. government policies, including the defeat of Custer at the Battle of the Little Bighorn, 1876. 2. Crazy Horse, Tashunke Witko, Oglala Lakota Sioux. Role: war chief known for his courage and tactical skill, key role in the Battle of the Little Bighorn, and resistance to forced relocation. 3. Geronimo Goyakla, Chiricahua Apache. Role: medicine man and leader, known for leading Apache resistance against Mexico and the U.S., evading capture for decades. 4. Chief Joseph Hinma Tuyalatkekt, Nez Perce. Role: chief known for his leadership during the Nez Perce War, 1877, and his famous speech, "I will fight no more forever," advocating for peace. 5. Tecumseh Shawnee. Role: political and military leader, known for the creation of a pan-Native confederacy to resist U.S. expansion in the early 19th century. 6. Red Cloud Mahpialuta, Oglala Lakota Sioux. Role: chief known for successfully waging Red Cloud's War, 1866-1868, and negotiating the Treaty of Fort Laramie. 7. Sequoyah Cherokee. Role: scholar and silversmith, known for inventing the Cherokee syllabary, greatly increasing literacy and preserving language. 8. Wilma Mankiller, Cherokee Nation. Role: first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, known for championing Native self-determination, education, healthcare, and tribal sovereignty in the late 20th century. Contemporary leaders. 1. Russell Means, Oglala Lakota. Role: activist, actor, AIM leader. Known for co-founding the American Indian movement, leading the Wounded Knee Occupation, 1973, and advocating for Native rights internationally. 2. Winona LaDuke, Ojibwe, White Earth Nation. Role: environmentalist, economist, activist, known for leadership in land rights, environmental justice, and running as vice presidential candidate for the Green Party. 3. Dennis Banks, Ojibwe. Role: co-founder of the American Indian Movement, AIM, known for leading protests for Native sovereignty, including the Trail of Broken Treaties and the Longest Walk. 4. Leonard Peltier, Turtle Mountain, Chippewa, Lakota. Role: activist, AIM member, known for his controversial incarceration and status as a symbol of the struggle for Native justice. 5. Deb Haaland, Laguna Pueblo. Role: U.S. Secretary of the Interior, 2021-present, known for first Native American Cabinet Secretary, advocate for land protection and indigenous rights. Why their leadership matters: defending sovereignty. Many leaders have fought to protect tribal lands and treaty rights, advocating for justice. From resisting forced removal to leading modern legal and environmental battles, Native leaders have stood for justice and civil rights. Cultural preservation. Leaders like Sequoyah and Wilma Mankiller have worked to keep languages and traditions alive. Inspiring activism. Leaders such as Russell Means and Winona LaDuke inspire new generations to fight for indigenous rights and environmental justice. In summary, Native American leaders, past and present, have played a crucial role in defending their peoples, shaping the course of American history, and inspiring continued activism and cultural pride. Their legacies live on in the resilience and achievements of Native communities today.
Hey there. Welcome to this channel. Today's big question: what are Native American rights? If you're in the U.S. or another country with a significant indigenous population, Understanding native rights is essential. Let's break it down. First off, what are native rights? Simply put, native rights refer to the legal, political, and human rights of indigenous peoples and tribal nations within the United States. These rights are established through treaties, federal and state laws, tribal sovereignty, and court decisions, all of which are shaped by centuries of history. Now let's dive into some key areas of Native American rights. Tribal sovereignty. Sovereignty means tribes are recognized as distinct, self-governing political entities with the authority to govern their own affairs, make and enforce their own laws, and manage their own lands. This is recognized by the U.S. Constitution and numerous Supreme Court decisions. Treaty rights. Over the years, hundreds of treaties were signed between Native nations and the U.S. government. These treaties promised land, resources, and rights in exchange for ceding territory. Many of these treaties are still legally binding and protect Native American treaty rights to hunt, fish, and use the land according to their traditions. Land and water rights. Through various legal means, including treaties, tribes have acquired rights to specific reservation lands. While the federal government holds these lands in trust for the tribes, many tribes continue to fight for the restoration of additional lands, protection from resource extraction, and to ensure access to clean water. For example, the Standing Rock Sioux tribes fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline, which threatened to contaminate their water supply, is a recent notable case. Cultural and religious rights. The American Indian Religious Freedom Act of 1978 is a landmark legislation that protects the right to practice traditional religions, access sacred sites, and use traditional medicines and ceremonies. Additionally, the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act of 1990, known as NAGPRA, requires museums and federal agencies to return ancestral remains and cultural items to the tribes. Tribal citizenship and enrollment. Each tribe establishes its own rules for membership, often based on descent, blood quantum, or community ties. Tribal citizenship confers rights, such as voting in tribal elections, receiving certain services, and participating in cultural and community life. Self-governance and economic rights. Native American tribes have the inherent right to form their own governments, police forces, and courts. Many also operate businesses such as casinos, energy, agriculture, and more under federal laws like the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act of 1988, health, education, and social services. As part of the federal government's trust responsibility to Native Americans, they are obligated to provide health care, education, and social services. While these services are often lacking, there are ongoing efforts to improve their quality and accessibility. For example, the Indian Health Service, IHS, is the federal government's agency responsible for providing health care to eligible Native Americans. Voting rights. All Native Americans are U.S. citizens and have the right to vote. However, they face unique challenges such as limited polling places, strict voter ID laws, and gerrymandering in Indian country, which can all hinder their full participation in elections. Now let's talk about current challenges. Despite legal protections, Native Americans continue to face issues related to land and environmental protection, missing and murdered Indigenous women, cultural preservation, legal jurisdiction, and economic development. Each of these areas presents unique challenges that require attention and action. So why are Native American rights important today? Upholding Native American rights is not just about acknowledging past injustices and broken treaties, although we must do that too. It's about ensuring the survival and flourishing of Native cultures, languages, and communities. It's about recognizing and respecting tribal sovereignty, which is a cornerstone of our collective freedom and democracy. It's about acknowledging the truth of our shared history and working towards a more just and equitable future for all. In summary, Native American rights are a critical part of the American legal and moral landscape. By understanding and respecting these rights, we honor the rich diversity and resilience of Native American cultures and contribute to a more inclusive and compassionate society for everyone. If you want to learn more or get involved, connect with local tribes and organizations, follow Native American news, and support initiatives that promote cultural preservation, economic development, and environmental protection in Native communities. Together, we can work towards a future that honors the rights and dignity of all people. Thanks for watching. Do you have Native American ancestry? What does that mean? Why is it significant? And how should you honor your native roots respectfully? Hey there, I'm here to talk about Native American ancestry. I'm from a genealogy website. We're here to help you discover your story. And this is part of our series exploring various types of ancestry and identity. First, let's talk about what Native American ancestry means. Native American ancestry refers to having biological lineage or family roots tracing back to the indigenous peoples of North, Central, or South America prior to European colonization. This ancestry can be specific, meaning you can link to a particular tribe or nation, or sometimes it's more general if family records or connections have been lost. Why is Native American ancestry significant? Well, for many, it's a source of pride, linking individuals to a rich heritage of traditions, languages, and worldviews that have been passed down for generations. For some, Native American identity is central to their sense of self, while others may not identify as Native American regardless of their ancestry. It can also have legal and political aspects, especially in the U.S., where tribal citizenship or enrollment is determined by each sovereign tribe. Often this involves documented lineage, blood quantum, or in other words, a certain percentage of Native American ancestors. Or it can involve descent from someone on historical tribal roles, or community participation and acceptance. Ultimately, the significance of Native American ancestry is deeply personal and can vary widely. But overall, it's a connection to a rich cultural, historical, and communal legacy. So if you or your family have Native American ancestry, here are ways to honor it. Learn your story. Talk to elders. Collect family stories and research your genealogy. Connect with community. If possible, reach out to your ancestral tribe or local Native organizations. Engage with culture. Attend powwows. Learn about traditional foods, crafts, and languages. Support Native initiatives. Buy from Native-owned businesses. Support Indigenous artists and causes. And lastly, respect authenticity. Remember that Native identity is complex and, for many tribes, defined by community and lived experience as much as by ancestry. Now let's talk about a few considerations on how to be respectful when exploring Native American ancestry. Tribal sovereignty. Each tribe or nation sets its own criteria for citizenship and participation. Having Native ancestry doesn't automatically mean tribal membership. Cultural sensitivity. Be mindful of claiming identity or practices without genuine connection or involvement. Listen to and prioritize Native voices. Genealogical challenges. Historical disruption, forced assimilation, and lack of records can make tracing Native ancestry challenging. DNA tests can show indigenous markers, but are not substitutes for community or cultural ties. In summary, Native American ancestry is both a personal and communal legacy rooted in family, culture, and history. Honoring that ancestry means engaging with respect, curiosity, and humility, and recognizing the ongoing vitality and sovereignty of Native nations today. If you're interested in learning more about your Native ancestry, consider reaching out to tribal enrollment offices, Native genealogy organizations, or local Native American cultural centers for guidance. Thanks for watching. Add your voice to the conversation by leaving a comment below. How does ancestry play a role in your sense of identity? We're here to help you discover your story. What is Native American heritage? Native American heritage refers to the rich tapestry of traditions, histories, languages, beliefs, arts, and innovations of the indigenous peoples of North America. It encompasses the unique cultures of hundreds of tribes, each with its own identity, customs, and worldview, stretching back thousands of years before European contact. To truly understand what Native American heritage means, let's explore some of its key aspects. Cultural traditions and expressions. Native American heritage is vibrant and diverse, expressed in many ways. Some examples include languages. There are over 500 recognized Native American languages, many still spoken and being revitalized. Storytelling, oral traditions, legends, and creation stories that pass down values, history, and knowledge across generations. Arts and crafts, various forms like pottery, beadwork, weaving, basketry, carving, and painting, which are both practical and artistic expressions. Music and dance, traditional songs, drumming, and dances that are central to ceremonies, social gatherings, and spiritual practice. Ceremonies, from powwows to sweat lodges, vision quests to seasonal festivals. Ceremonies strengthen community bonds and spiritual life. Regalia, special clothing, jewelry, and adornments that signify tribal identity, social status, and ceremonial meaning. Connection to land and nature. A deep connection to the natural world is fundamental to many native cultures. This includes stewardship. Native cultures often emphasize reciprocal relationships with the land, animals, and plants, recognizing their interconnectedness and the need for balance. Sacred sites. Many landscapes, rivers, and mountains hold deep spiritual significance, serving as sites of cultural, religious, or historical importance. Historical experiences. Native American heritage also encompasses a significant history that has shaped contemporary Native life, including sovereign nations. Native nations had their own governments, laws, and territories long before colonization. Colonization and survival. Despite forced removals, boarding schools, broken treaties, and cultural suppression, Native peoples have survived and adapted, preserving much of their heritage. Resilience. The ongoing revitalization of language, tradition, and identity is a testament to Native resilience and creativity. Contemporary heritage and contributions. Today, Native Americans contribute to all aspects of society, from government, science, and the arts to activism, sports, and more. They are leaders, innovators, and change-makers. Cultural revitalization. Language programs, traditional foodways, and arts festivals support cultural continuity. Legal and political advocacy. Tribes work to protect sovereignty, land rights, and treaty obligations. Education and awareness. Native American Heritage Month, observed in November in the United States, and Indigenous Peoples Day, are dedicated to celebrating and educating about Native history and culture. Why Native American heritage matters. Recognizing and understanding Native American heritage is crucial for several reasons. Diversity. Native heritage is not monolithic, but represents immense diversity in language, belief, and lifeways. Roots of American society. Many foods, place names, environmental practices, and democratic principles have Native origins. Ongoing presence. Native peoples are not just part of the past, but are vibrant, innovative, and essential to the present and future. Ways to honor and learn. There are many ways to honor and learn about Native American heritage. Here are a few. Support Native artists, authors, and businesses. Visit museums, cultural centers, and powwows. Learn about the land's original inhabitants where you live. Educate yourself about tribal history, sovereignty, and contemporary issues. Listen to Native voices, both online and in your community. In conclusion, Native American heritage is a living, evolving legacy of resilience, wisdom, and cultural richness. It deserves recognition, respect, and celebration, not just in history, but as a vital part of our shared world today. By learning about and engaging with Native heritage, we all contribute to a more inclusive, informed, and compassionate society. Native American food is incredibly diverse, reflecting the vast landscapes of North America and the ingenuity of its indigenous peoples. Before European contact, Native nations developed sophisticated agricultural, hunting, fishing, and gathering practices shaped by their region's resources, climate, and culture. Many staples and cooking methods remain central to American cuisine today. Here's a quick overview of major food staples by region. 1. The Three Sisters, corn, beans, and squash. 2. Eastern woodlands, wild rice, maple syrup, nuts, acorns, hickory, berries, deer, turkey, and fish. The Iroquois and other northeastern tribes practiced agriculture alongside hunting and gathering. 3. Great Plains, bison, buffalo, meat, fat, hides, bone tools, and more. Dried buffalo meat, pemmican, was a staple. They also gathered wild plants, sunflowers, prairie turnips, chokecherries, and more. 4. Southwest, corn, beans, squash, chilies, and amaranth. Prickly pear, mesquite, rabbit, and turkey. The Pueblo, Navajo, and Hopi peoples developed advanced irrigation systems for farming in the desert. 5. Pacific Northwest, salmon, shellfish, seaweed, roots, camas, berries, deer, and elk. The diet was shaped by abundant rivers and the ocean. 6. Arctic and subarctic, fish, seal, whale, caribou, berries, and roots. The Inuit, Yupik, and other peoples relied on hunting and fishing, using every part of the animal. Cooking methods varied but included roasting, steaming, and boiling in clay pots or earth ovens. Drying and smoking preserved meat, fish, and fruit for winter or travel. Stone grinding produced flours and meal, and baking in ashes or heated pits created unique flavors and textures. Some famous and traditional native dishes include succotash, a stew of corn, beans, and squash. Fry bread, a post-contact food, now a powwow staple. After the introduction of wheat flour, pemmican, dried bison, or deer mixed with fat and berries. Cornbread and hominy made from nixtamalized corn. Salmon roasted on cedar planks, a Pacific Northwest specialty. Wild rice casserole, Great Lakes region. And acorn mush, a traditional food of the California natives. Women's roles in foodways were crucial. Women were often the primary cultivators, gatherers, and cooks, passing down recipes and agricultural knowledge through generations. Food preparation is and remains deeply tied to community and ceremony. In the face of colonization, forced assimilation, and the loss of traditional lands, native peoples have maintained and adapted their foodways, demonstrating incredible resilience. Today, contemporary native chefs and communities are revitalizing traditional food sovereignty movements. They focus on reclaiming traditional foods, protecting land and seed rights, and promoting health in indigenous communities. Many foods first cultivated or foraged by Native Americans, corn, potatoes, tomatoes, beans, squash, peppers, wild rice, and more, are now staples worldwide. The influence of Native American food on American cuisine and global foodways is undeniable. By recognizing and respecting the roots of American cuisine, we honor the deep contributions of Native peoples. Their food, a testament to resilience, adaptation, and creativity, continues to nourish bodies and communities across the United States and beyond. Native American clothing is more than just fabric and thread. It's a living, breathing piece of tribal history. Each stitch and design element tells a story of environmental adaptation, artistic expression, and cultural identity. So let's take a quick journey through the fascinating world of Native American clothing. First off, let's talk about the materials. You know, Native Americans didn't have access to modern fabrics and sewing machines, so they got creative. They made most of their garments from animal hides, things like deer, elk, and buffalo. These hides were tanned and softened, making them more comfortable and long-lasting. In warmer regions, tribes used cotton, bark, or grass fibers to weave their own cloth. And when the temperatures dropped, furs and feathers became essential. In fact, in colder areas, animal furs were used for winter clothing and even ceremonial attire. And feathers, well, they were reserved for the most respected leaders. And when it comes to the different styles of clothing, it's really a story of regional differences. The tribes in the Great Plains, they're known for their leather buckskin dresses and shirts. For women, these were often decorated with beadwork, quill work, and fringe. And for men, shirts, leggings, and breechcloths were common. But it wasn't just about function. Clothing was a way to express oneself, to show off your status and your connection to the land. Take, for example, the war bonnet. This was a special hat made of eagle feathers that was only worn by the most respected leaders and warriors. It was a symbol of courage, strength, and leadership. Moving on to the southwest, we have the Pueblo, Hopi, and Navajo peoples. They wove cotton into manta dresses, kilts, and sashes, and the Navajo are famous for their woven blankets. Oh, and as for the Plains tribes, they're known for their leather work. But as we move further east into the woodlands, you'll see different styles emerge. Here, leggings, tunics, and moccasins were popular, and women often wore wrap-around skirts. Clothing was decorated with porcupine quills, shells, and painted designs. And then there's the Pacific Northwest. This region had an abundance of natural materials like cedar bark, mountain goat wool, and fur. These were used to make robes, capes, and woven hats. But perhaps the most iconic item is the Chilkat blanket. These were large, rectangular blankets that featured intricate designs and lots of fringe. They were used for everything from everyday wear to ceremonial purposes. Finally, let's take a look at the Arctic peoples, the Inuit and the Yupik. They lived in some of the harshest conditions on Earth, so their clothing had to be warm. Parkas, pants, and boots made from seal, caribou, or polar bear skins were essential. These were often decorated with fur trim and ivory. Now, throughout all of these regions and tribes, there was one common thread: the importance of decoration. Beadwork and quillwork were popular ways to add color and design to garments, and these patterns weren't just for looks. They often had deep spiritual or clan significance. Feathers, shells, and bones were also used for ornamentation. They could convey status, achievement, or spiritual meaning. And finally, paint and dyes made from natural pigments were used to color clothing for ceremonies, war, and storytelling. But wait, there's more. Clothing wasn't just a means of covering the body. It was a form of identity, a way to tell stories and a connection to the past, present, and future. Women played a vital role in creating clothing, passing down their skills and knowledge through generations. Creating garments was a communal and deeply spiritual act, and the clothing itself was a reflection of the wearer's identity, status, and relationship to their community. Today, Native American clothing continues to evolve. Native designers are creating contemporary fashions that honor their heritage while embracing new materials, techniques, and styles. At powwows, the regalia worn by dancers tells the story of their heritage and identity. Each piece is a work of art, a testament to the resilience and creativity of Native American cultures. So remember, clothing is more than just fabric and thread. It's a powerful form of cultural expression. And Native American clothing is a vibrant, living tradition that continues to thrive today. If you found this video informative, please consider supporting us. Your support helps us continue producing quality content. And if you have any thoughts, comments, or suggestions, feel free to share them below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Native American jewelry is more than just an accessory. It's a profound expression of Native American culture, history, and spirituality. Throughout the centuries, skilled artisans from various tribes have created stunning pieces that adorn the body while telling stories of their heritage. From the intricate silverwork of the Navajo to the vibrant beadwork of the Hopi, each piece is a testament to the creativity and resilience of Native American cultures. In this video, we'll explore the artistry, tradition, and meaning behind Native American jewelry. Join us as we delve into the rich world of Native American jewelry, where every design element holds cultural significance and every piece tells a story. Materials and techniques. Native American jewelry is renowned for its exquisite use of materials. Sterling silver is a popular choice, prized for its durability and malleability. Turquoise, often set in silver, is a favorite among many southwestern tribes, symbolizing protection, health, and the connection to the sky and water. Other materials include coral, shell, and various gemstones. The techniques employed by Native American jewelers are equally impressive. Silversmithing, introduced in the 19th century, particularly among the Navajo, involves handcrafting silver into bracelets, rings, necklaces, and belt buckles. Stone inlay, practiced by Zuni artists, showcases intricate patterns set into silver using tiny pieces of turquoise, coral, and other stones. Beadwork, used by numerous tribes, features beads woven into necklaces, earrings, and even clothing. Carving, exemplified by Zuni fetishes, transforms animal figures into both jewelry and spiritual objects. Cultural significance. Each piece of Native American jewelry often carries symbolic meaning. Designs may feature animals, feathers, or geometric patterns that tell stories or represent elements of nature, healing, protection, or tribal identity. The jewelry is not only a form of self-expression, but also a way to connect with cultural roots and traditions. It's worn for ceremonies, dances, and daily life, serving as a tangible link to the past. Many pieces are handcrafted with spiritual significance, making them not just accessories, but powerful symbols of cultural heritage. The materials, techniques, and symbolism embedded in Native American jewelry make each piece a unique work of art. Contemporary and authentic creations. Today, Native American jewelry continues to thrive as an art form. Contemporary artists reinterpret traditional designs while preserving cultural integrity. Authentic pieces are hallmarked, ensuring their origin and supporting Indigenous communities. Reputable galleries and online stores specialize in genuine Native American jewelry, offering a wide range of styles and designs. A living tradition. From the intricate silver cuffs of the Navajo to the colorful beadwork of the Hopi, each piece reflects the creativity, resilience, and cultural richness of Native American artisans. Whether worn for a special occasion or as part of everyday attire, Native American jewelry serves as a reminder of the enduring human spirit and the power of cultural expression through art. If you've ever been captivated by the beauty and cultural significance of Native American jewelry, you're not alone. Its timeless appeal continues to resonate with people worldwide. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more captivating content. And if you have any thoughts or experiences to share, drop them in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the world's artistic wonders. These crafts are not only beautiful but also deeply meaningful, often serving ceremonial, utilitarian, or storytelling purposes. From intricate beadwork to stunning pottery, from woven baskets to carved wooden masks, each craft form has its own unique history and cultural significance. Beadwork is used to decorate clothing, jewelry, and ceremonial items. The patterns often have symbolic meanings and are unique to different tribes. Pottery is an important craft for many Native communities, especially in the Southwest. Artists use traditional methods and natural materials to create vessels with distinctive shapes and painted designs. Weaving, including basketry and textile weaving, is practiced by tribes across North America. Techniques and patterns are passed down through generations, and materials like willow, sweetgrass, and wool are commonly used. Leatherwork is another significant craft, with leather being used for clothing, moccasins, bags, and regalia, often adorned with quillwork, beadwork, or fringe. Featherwork is highly valued, with feathers used in headdresses, fans, and ceremonial objects. They symbolize honor, courage, and a connection to the spiritual world. Carving is an important art form, with wood, bone, and stone being carved into tools, masks, totems, and figurines, each with cultural and spiritual significance. If you're interested in learning more about Native American crafts, there are many resources and suppliers that offer authentic materials and craft kits. Whether you want to make your own crafts or teach others, these supplies support both traditional artists and educational projects. Some popular craft supplies include beads, leather, feathers, and craft kits. By using these materials, you can create beautiful and meaningful pieces while supporting Indigenous artists and businesses. It's important to note that Native American crafts are not just decorative items. They are a living link to heritage, identity, and community. Many artists spend countless hours perfecting their craft, preserving traditions, and sharing stories through their work. If you're looking to purchase authentic Native crafts, visit specialized stores and galleries that support Indigenous artists and ensure cultural respect. In conclusion, Native American crafts are a testament to the ingenuity, creativity, and cultural richness of Indigenous peoples. From the intricate beadwork to the stunning pottery, from the woven baskets to the carved wooden masks, each craft form tells a story and preserves a tradition. Whether you're a craft enthusiast, an educator, or simply someone who appreciates the beauty of Native American culture, these crafts are sure to captivate you. So next time you have the opportunity to learn about, purchase, or admire Native American crafts, take the time to appreciate the artistry, cultural significance, and historical legacy behind each piece. Native American spirituality is a rich and diverse aspect of Indigenous cultures, deeply intertwined with nature, community, and the cosmos. While each tribe has unique beliefs and practices, several core elements are widely shared. Core beliefs. Animism. Most Native American spiritualities hold that all things, living beings, natural elements, such as sun, moon, water, animals, and even inanimate objects, possess a spirit or life force, the Great Spirit or Creator. Many tribes believe in a supreme being or creator, often referred to as the Great Spirit, Great Creator, or Earth Mother, who oversees the universe. Interconnectedness. The spiritual and physical worlds are intertwined, and everyday life involves maintaining harmony with nature and community. Spiritual practices and ceremonies. Ceremonial dances and gatherings. Ritual dancing, singing, and communal ceremonies express gratitude, mark seasons, and honor the spirits and ancestors. Sacred rituals. These include the sun dance, the green corn ceremony, the potlatch, and healing rituals led by medicine men, shamans, or spiritual leaders. Vision quests and dreaming. Spiritual guidance often comes through visions and dreams, pursued through fasting and solitude. Use of sacred plants. Tobacco, sage, sweetgrass, and peyote have ceremonial uses for cleansing, prayer, and connection to the spirit world. Religious leaders. Shamans and medicine people. These individuals perform healing, spiritual mediation, and ritual ceremonies, acting as conduits between the physical and supernatural worlds. Contemporary spiritual movements. The Native American Church, NAC, blends traditional indigenous spirituality with Christian elements, focusing on the ceremonial use of peyote as a sacrament. Importance of oral tradition. Spiritual beliefs and histories are passed down orally, through stories, songs, and ceremonies, preserving cultural heritage amid historical challenges like forced assimilation. Challenges and preservation. Colonial suppression and modern pressures have threatened Native spiritual practices, but revitalization efforts continue to restore and celebrate indigenous spirituality. These elements reveal a spirituality that is holistic, communal, and deeply respectful of the natural world, continuing powerfully in Native communities today. Overview of Native American spirituality. Native American spirituality is a diverse and deeply rooted set of beliefs and practices among the indigenous peoples of the Americas. It is not a single, unified religion, but rather a collection of spiritual traditions that vary widely between different nations, tribes, and bands. Each community has its own unique ceremonies, stories, and ways of relating to the world. Core beliefs and practices. Connection to nature. Central to most Native American spiritual traditions is a profound respect for the natural world. The land, animals, plants, and elements are seen as living relatives, not resources to be exploited. Many ceremonies and prayers are focused on maintaining harmony and balance with nature. The Great Spirit and spirits. Many tribes believe in a supreme being often referred to as the Great Spirit, as well as a host of other spirits associated with animals, ancestors, and natural forces. However, the specifics of these beliefs differ greatly among tribes. Ceremonies and rituals. Spiritual life is marked by ceremonies such as sweat lodges, vision quests, sun dances, and powwows. These rituals are used for healing, purification, guidance, and community bonding. Oral tradition. Stories, songs, and dances are vital for passing down spiritual knowledge and cultural values from one generation to the next. Diversity and non-exclusivity. There is no single doctrine or centralized authority in Native American spirituality. Each tribe's spiritual path is unique, and many individuals blend traditional beliefs with other religious practices, such as Christianity or the Native American Church. This non-exclusivity allows for a flexible and personal approach to spirituality. Contemporary practice and challenges. Today, Native Americans continue to practice their spiritual traditions, often in the face of historical and ongoing challenges such as colonization, cultural suppression, and environmental threats. Many are actively working to revitalize ceremonies, languages, and traditional knowledge as a means of cultural survival and healing. Cultural sensitivity. It's important to approach Native American spirituality with respect and awareness. Many Native communities are protective of their spiritual practices due to a history of cultural appropriation and misunderstanding by outsiders. Learning directly from tribal members and respecting boundaries is essential. In summary, Native American spirituality is a living, diverse, and deeply meaningful set of traditions that emphasize harmony with nature, respect for all life, and the importance of community and ceremony. Each tribe's spiritual path is unique, and these traditions continue to play a vital role in Native life today. 3. The biggest challenges facing reservations today. Poverty and unemployment. Native Americans experience some of the highest poverty rates in the U.S., with about 33% living below the poverty line. Unemployment rates on reservations can reach as high as 80%. In some communities, root causes include historical displacement, restrictive federal policies, and geographic isolation. Housing crisis. Severe shortages of adequate housing lead to overcrowding and substandard living conditions. About 40% of on-reservation housing is inadequate, and 30% is overcrowded health disparities. The Indian Health Service is underfunded, and many reservations lack local clinics. Native Americans have higher rates of chronic diseases and suicide, with limited access to mental health services, educational barriers, lower high school graduation and college enrollment rates, underfunded schools, and systemic discrimination contribute to educational challenges, violence, and public safety. Native women face disproportionately high rates of violence, including domestic abuse and murder, with inadequate law enforcement response infrastructure and basic needs. Many households lack access to clean water, electricity, and adequate sanitation. Food insecurity is common due to food deserts on reservations, governance, and legal barriers. Most reservation land is held in trust by the federal government, complicating property ownership and economic development, cultural erosion, and language loss. Generations of forced assimilation have led to the loss of native languages and cultural practices, though revitalization efforts are ongoing. Systemic discrimination, ongoing racism, stereotyping, and exclusion from mainstream society further marginalize Native communities. These challenges are deeply interconnected and rooted in a history of colonization, displacement, and systemic neglect. Addressing them requires holistic, community-driven solutions and respect for tribal sovereignty. 4. How casinos and gaming affect reservation economies, economic benefits, employment. Casino operations have increased adult employment by 26% on reservations with casinos. Income and poverty reduction. Gaming tribes have seen higher per capita incomes and a 14% decline in the number of working poor in counties with or near a casino community benefits. Casino revenues fund tribal programs, infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Some tribes distribute profits directly to members. Limitations and challenges. Uneven gains. Not all tribes benefit equally. Success is often tied to proximity to urban centers or major highways. Non-native employment. Many casino jobs are filled by non-native workers, especially in rural areas. Social issues. Increases in gambling addiction, drug abuse, and crime have been reported in some communities. Regulatory tensions. Negotiating compacts with state governments can be contentious, sometimes eroding tribal sovereignty sustainability. Market saturation and poor management can lead to casino failures. Long-term viability depends on diversification beyond gaming. Conclusion. While casino gaming has transformed the economic landscape for some tribes, its impact is uneven and fraught with challenges. Diversification and careful planning are essential for sustainable economic development. 5. Efforts to preserve native languages on reservations, historical context. The decline of native languages is rooted in assimilation policies, such as boarding schools that punish children for speaking their languages. Language loss is linked to cultural erosion and social challenges, while revitalization supports well-being and identity, legislative and policy support. The Native American Languages Act 1990 and the Esther Martinez Act 2006 provide federal support for language preservation and immersion programs, key strategies and programs immersion schools. Instruction is conducted in the native language, producing new fluent speakers, e.g. Navajo and Cherokee immersion programs. Community-based initiatives. Master apprentice programs pair elders with learners. Community classes foster intergenerational transmission technology and digital resources. Language learning apps, e.g. Duolingo for Navajo, digital archives, and online courses make language accessible to younger generations and diaspora members. University partnerships. Collaborations with universities support research, curriculum development, and teacher training. Social media and online communities. Platforms like Facebook and Twitter are used to share language resources and connect learners. Challenges. Shortage of fluent speakers, funding limitations, and the need for integration into mainstream education remain significant obstacles. Success stories. The Navajo Language Preservation Project uses online courses and community-driven apps to engage youth and maintain language vitality. The Miami Center at Miami University and the Cherokee Nation Language Department have seen increased engagement and new fluent speakers through immersion and community programs. Conclusion. Language preservation on reservations is multifaceted, combining traditional methods, community-driven programs, and technology. Success depends on collaboration, cultural sensitivity, and sustained investment. What are Native American reservations? Native American reservations are areas of land in the United States that are held and governed by Native American tribal nations. These lands are officially recognized by the U.S. federal government, and the tribal governments have a degree of autonomy, although they are still subject to certain federal regulations and oversight by Congress. Key features: sovereignty. Tribal governments on reservations are autonomous, meaning they have the authority to govern themselves and make decisions about their land and people. However, this sovereignty is limited by federal law, and the U.S. Congress retains the power to regulate certain aspects of reservation life. Federal recognition. There are approximately 567 federally recognized Indian reservations in the United States, though the number of federally recognized tribes is currently 574. Purpose: reservations were established as a result of treaties, laws, and executive orders, often following the forced removal of Native Americans from their ancestral lands. The reservation system was intended to confine Native Americans to specific areas, often as a means of controlling and assimilating them. Types of reservations: federal reservations. Most reservations are held in trust by the federal government for the benefit of the tribes. State reservations. Some lands are held in trust by state governments for tribes, and these are subject to state law rather than federal law. Life on reservations community. Many Native Americans live on reservations, but a significant number also live in cities and towns outside reservation boundaries. Challenges. Reservations often face challenges such as limited economic opportunities, underfunded services, and issues related to health and education. Empowerment. Tribal governments work to enhance the quality of life for their members, promote economic development, and protect tribal assets. Why reservations matter. Cultural preservation. Reservations are important centers for the preservation of native languages, traditions, and governance. Legal status. The unique legal status of reservations reflects the government-to-government relationship between tribes and the United States. Native American languages are incredibly diverse and belong to numerous distinct language families spread across North America. Scholars have classified these languages into multiple language families and isolates, reflecting complex historical and cultural development. Major language families in North America: Algic family, including Algonquian languages. Spoken widely in the northeastern U.S. and Canada, includes languages like Cree, Ojibwe, and Blackfoot. Nadine family includes the Athabascan languages such as Navajo and Apache, as well as Tlingit and Ayak. Iroquoian family, spoken by groups such as the Haudenosaunee, Iroquois Confederacy, primarily in the northeastern U.S. and southeastern Canada. Siouan-Catawban family includes Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, Sioux languages, spoken in the central U.S. Uto-Aztecan family, widely spoken in the southwestern U.S. and Mexico, including languages like Hopi, Nahuatl, and Shoshone. Eskimo-Aleut family, languages primarily in the Arctic regions, including Inuit and Aleut. Salishan, Wakashan, and other Northwest Coast families found in the Pacific Northwest region. Language isolates and smaller families. Several indigenous languages do not clearly fit into larger families and are considered isolates, such as Haida, Kootenai, and Zuni, each representing unique linguistic heritage. Linguistic distribution and vitality. Historically, thousands of indigenous languages were spoken across the Americas. Today, many are endangered due to historical colonization, assimilation policies, and language shift toward English, Spanish, or French. Revitalization efforts are ongoing, with communities, linguists, and educators working to preserve and revive native tongues through immersion programs, documentation, and technology. Cultural importance of language is fundamental to indigenous identity, worldview, and cultural continuity. It encodes traditional knowledge, spirituality, social norms, and detailed ecological understanding specific to each community. This overview highlights the linguistic diversity of Native American languages and the importance of efforts to sustain and revive them across different nations and regions. What are Native American tribes? Native American tribes are distinct, sovereign nations of indigenous peoples whose ancestors have lived in North America for thousands of years, long before the arrival of Europeans. Each tribe is a unique cultural, political, and social entity with its own traditions, languages, and systems of governance. Key features of Native American tribes. I-1. Sovereignty and government. Sovereign nations. Federally recognized tribes possess a special legal status as domestic dependent nations. They have the inherent right to self-governance, manage their lands, and maintain their own governments. Tribal governments. Each tribe has its own constitution or governing documents. Tribal governments may include councils, chiefs, or chairpersons elected by tribal members. Federal recognition. There are currently 574 federally recognized tribes in the United States. Federal recognition establishes a government-to-government relationship with the U.S. and entitles tribes to certain rights, services, and protections. 2. Culture and language. Cultural diversity. There are hundreds of tribes, each with its own rich heritage, customs, and traditions. Examples include the Navajo, Diné, Lakota, Cherokee, Ojibwe, Haudenosaunee, Iroquois, and many more. Languages. Indigenous languages are a core part of tribal identity. Some tribes have language revitalization programs to preserve or revive their ancestral tongues. Traditions. Tribes have unique ceremonies, dances, music, art, and spiritual beliefs. These traditions are often tied to the tribe's history and relationship with the land. 3. Land and reservations. Historic homelands. Tribes have ancestral territories that span across what is now the United States. Reservations. Many tribes live on reservations, which are lands set aside by treaties, statutes, or executive orders. Not all tribes have reservations, and not all members live on them. Land stewardship. Tribes often have a deep spiritual connection to their lands and natural resources. 4. Membership and community. Tribal membership. Each tribe determines its own criteria for membership, which may include lineage, residency, or other factors. Community life. Tribal members often participate in communal decision-making, ceremonies, and social events. Types of recognition. Federally recognized tribes have a legal relationship with the U.S. government and are eligible for federal services and funding. State-recognized tribes. Recognized by individual states but not by the federal government. These tribes may be eligible for state-level benefits and programs. Unrecognized tribes. Some indigenous groups are not formally recognized but continue to maintain their unique identities and seek recognition. Examples of well-known tribes. Navajo Nation, Diné. The largest federally recognized tribe by land and population, primarily in Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. Cherokee Nation, located in Oklahoma with a rich history and one of the largest tribal enrollments. Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, Sioux. Tribes of the Northern Plains, known for their warrior societies and traditions. Haudenosaunee, Iroquois Confederacy. A political union of 6 nations in the northeastern U.S. Alaska Native tribes, including Inuit, Yupik, Aleut, and numerous Athabascan and Tlingit groups, each with distinct cultures and governance. Modern life and challenges. Cultural revitalization. Tribes are actively preserving languages, arts, and traditions. Economic development. Many tribes operate businesses, casinos, and enterprises to support their communities. Legal rights. Tribal sovereignty can lead to complex legal relationships with federal and state governments. Ongoing issues. Tribes face challenges such as land disputes, health disparities, and ongoing efforts for justice and recognition. In summary, Native American tribes are sovereign, self-governing nations with unique histories, cultures, and laws. They are central to the history and future of the United States and continue to thrive despite centuries of challenges. Native American culture. A living tapestry. Native American culture is a rich and diverse tapestry shaped by hundreds of distinct nations and tribes, each with unique languages, traditions, and spiritual beliefs. Despite historical challenges, these cultures continue to thrive, sustain, and adapt in the modern world. Key aspects of Native American culture. 1. Profound connection to the land. Native cultures view the land as sacred and integral to identity and spirituality. The natural environment influences food, art, clothing, and all aspects of community life. Traditional ecological knowledge guides sustainable living, passed through generations. 2. Oral traditions and storytelling. History, laws, and spiritual teachings are transmitted orally through stories, songs, and ceremonies. Elders are revered as knowledge keepers and teachers, ensuring cultural values endure even without widespread written records. 3. Vibrant arts and crafts. Artistic expression varies regionally, reflecting cultural identity. Pueblo pottery, Pacific Northwest. Formline designs, Great Plains quillwork. Arts like beadwork, weaving, carving, and painting carry symbolic meanings and are passed down as living traditions. 4. Social structure and kinship. Kinship defines roles, responsibilities, and community ties, often extending beyond the nuclear family. Decision-making emphasizes consensus and communal harmony. Deep respect for elders, who safeguard traditions and wisdom. 5. Sacred ceremonies and rituals. Ceremonies reinforce community bonds and spiritual beliefs. Powwows unite tribes through dance, music, and regalia. Sweat lodge rituals offer spiritual and physical purification. Regional ceremonies, such as the potlatch in the Northwest, celebrate heritage and social status. Example, Lakota culture. The Lakota of the Northern Plains hold the bison as a central resource for both sustenance and material culture. Their crafts include quillwork and jewelry, often using materials significant to their heritage. Regalia incorporates feathers, symbolizing strength and spirituality. Contemporary importance. Language revitalization, cultural education, traditional ceremonies, and political sovereignty are central to sustaining Native heritage today. Despite facing pressures of assimilation and systemic inequalities, Native communities are actively strengthening and celebrating their identities. In summary, Native American culture is a dynamic, living heritage with profound historical roots and ongoing vibrancy. Its core values, connection to land, oral tradition, artistry, kinship, and ceremony, continue to shape and inspire communities across North America. Native American culture is a rich and diverse tapestry shaped by hundreds of distinct nations and tribes, each with unique languages, traditions, and spiritual beliefs. Key aspects of Native American culture include a profound connection to the land, oral traditions, vibrant arts and crafts, kinship-based social structures, and sacred ceremonies. Connection to the land. Native cultures view the land as sacred, integral to identity and spirituality. The natural environment influences food, art, clothing, and community life. Traditional ecological knowledge guides sustainable living practices passed through generations. Oral traditions and storytelling. History, laws, and spiritual teachings are transmitted orally via stories, songs, and ceremonies, ensuring cultural values endure when written records were not used widely. Elders are revered as knowledge keepers and teachers. Arts and crafts. Art expresses cultural identity through pottery, beadwork, weaving, carving, and painting, varying regionally. For example, Pueblo pottery, Pacific Northwest formline designs, and Great Plains quillwork are emblematic artistic forms embedded with symbolic meanings. Social structure and kinship. Kinship defines roles, responsibilities, and community ties, extending beyond nuclear families. Decision-making often emphasizes consensus and communal harmony. Respect for elders is central as they safeguard traditions and wisdom. Ceremonies and rituals. Sacred ceremonies reinforce community bonds and spiritual beliefs. Powwows unite tribes through dance, music, and regalia. Sweat lodge rituals offer spiritual and physical purification. Regional ceremonies like potlatch celebrate heritage and social status. Example, Lakota culture. The Lakota people, primarily in the northern plains, value bison as a vital resource for sustenance and material culture. Their crafts include intricate quill work and jewelry using culturally significant materials. Regalia incorporates feathers symbolizing strength and spirituality, contemporary importance. Today, Native American cultures sustain their heritage through language revitalization, cultural education, traditional ceremonies, and political sovereignty. Despite challenges like assimilation pressures and systemic inequalities, Native communities continue to strengthen and celebrate their identities. This overview captures the depth and vitality of Native American culture, illustrating its profound historical roots and ongoing vibrancy.